Jaguar Nation, we are breaking down all of Trevor Lawrence's biggest throws from quite a few games. So going ahead, lock in, and let's see where he can improve to actually get Duval to the Super Bowl. So you'll see here he gets off of Trevor. Pause. Gets off of. Oh my God. Anyway, I am happy that Travis Hunter is going to be a full-time corner. You do work to Brenton Strange eventually on the pivot route. What I liked about this play in particular is that they did rep this in preseason, and then, of course, Strange makes something happen. 3rd and 10, and we get some really good quarterbacking right here from Trevor Lawrence. The only thing about this is with the player jumping off sides, we always want to take that shot knowing that we have a free one in our back pocket. Trevor might not have seen it. All these routes might have just gone vertical because of it. So if it's this wide open, we want to take it almost every single time. And guess what? I have a lot of Brenton Strange. I do think he is a pretty good tight end, especially for where he was going in fantasy draft. All right, so this is a pretty interesting design. We didn't show you this. It was 1st and 20 again. It was a good run by Etienne on the play before. And you get a long, nice play action fake. You're trying to get vertical here, wheel Travis Hunter around. If either of these aren't open, we want to hit the deep over. This is not an easy window to throw this football to. Look at where it's placed. Boom. I mean, it can't be put in a much better place than that. Let's go to this 2nd and goal. I'm not showing this to you because it's not really a Trevor thing. They were trying to get the screen game going to the first-round pick Travis Hunter, and it just wasn't going. They weren't really well run. There was one before this that was kind of rough, but it did get 4 yards. Once again, heavy play action fake. And what are we doing? Okay, you have Brenton Strange as a lead blocker here. So they're really thinking it's going to be a run. And you're actually throwing to the tight end number 2 on the rollout. It's really, really, really sexy stuff. And you always love when a coordinator can scheme things this wide open. Every quarterback in NFL history is going to be able to make that throw. Etienne has a massive run, and now we are in the red zone here. And this is a play that a lot of teams are starting to run. It started with Steve Sarkisian last year with Texas running the variation of this play. LSU ran it this past weekend, and guess what? We're getting the football to LSU zone. Brian Thomas Jr. on the reverse. The thing I like about this, the reverse pivot motion, is by getting the defense going to the right. So many defenders are used to reading pulling guards and pulling tight ends. To have them go this way and then you're actually going this way and really selling the action that you're going right, it makes the blocks to the left that much easier. So I almost said Evan Ingram gets a good seal right here. And then you get a good seal from 5 right there. I think that used to be Cisco. Now I think that's De'Ami Brown. That's honestly as good of a block as you'll ever see. And then he climbs to the 2nd level and gets a good block. And all you need is BTJ to keep his feet and basically walk into the end zone. It doesn't get much easier than that. 2nd and Tallahassee here. Are you kidding me, Trevor Lawrence? Really, really, really good stuff. So the first thing about this throw is the protection. It is really good. This protection should be sponsored by Trojan. It is that awesome. Look, everything is just covered. They sort out this blitz wonderfully. So this is really good coaching from Coen and his staff. Look at this. I mean, you Jaguar fans have been complaining for years about offensive line play. It doesn't get any better than this. It's nearly impossible to protect this any better than they did on this play. Okay, now, is there some edge pressure coming off the left tackle? Sure, it wouldn't be a Jaguars breakdown if you didn't have some of that. But still, everything gets picked up, and Trevor Lawrence throws a really nice ball right here to De'Ami Brown on this deep dig. Really good stuff. And now you're in field goal range. Okay, it was so good. Messed up the Fox cameras here, and look at that. Let's go to this 3rd and 7, and this was a point of emphasis for Liam Coen this offseason, was to put Brian Thomas in the slot more often. Okay, This is a very difficult throw to make. So if you're looking at this pre-snap, you can see that this slot corner has a leverage advantage, and he's sitting at the sticks here versus BTJ. So Trevor, I think, predetermines that, hey, we're going to work BTJ on this route. You can see he's staring it down the entire time. Of course, a player of BTJ's caliber, it's fine if you want to go on ahead and just convince yourself that he's going to be able to get to the outside here, okay? So Trevor makes this throw, and it's covered, right? It's just never being complete. And I think in this instance, keep hitting your checkdowns, right? This probably gets it done. If we're able to get off of this, maybe this route from the tight end was open. You're in a better spot than making this dangerous crossfield throw. I love Trevor's conviction on this throw. Okay, it's 20-3. You're up by 17. I just said, hey, hit your checkdowns, live to fight another down. But here, Trevor says, F you, I'm actually playing this game dangerously. So he sees that the corner is deciding, hey, do I want to, on this smash concept, to work down to the tight end or stay with the receiver? Trevor, while staring this down to De'Ami Brown, starts breaking towards Strange, and then he gets caught in his own feet, basically, and Trevor is able to fit this through this window right here. Look at that. I like it. Dangerous, sure, but we want to be dangerous. Why not? Huh? This would be my major criticism of this Jaguars game. So many of these second and longs, and you're still able to get away from them. A lot of that is on Trevor. A lot of that is with the new offense. Ben Johnson, who's also a very smart offensive mind. The Bears, with their new offensive mastermind, had a lot of penalties and whatnot and mistakes. But look at this. Not a whole lot of touch. It's just a really good play by a really good corner. Yes, in theory, it was there. Just a bad throw, and honestly, just a really good play by the corner. It was an overall frustrating day for BTJ, even though he did get the touchdown. BTJ is a receiver, right? I don't care about rushing touchdowns. This is why you have him on your team. So BTJ, this is a ridiculous piece of wide receiver play right here. Fights through that contact, and he's open here. And Trevor, in as clean of a pocket as you'll ever see, just misses him, okay? And I mean, this is a bad, bad, bad miss. Oh! What do we make of this first Trevor Lawrence game? Well, it is something that PFF graded Bryce Young significantly higher than T-Law in this performance. All right. And I think part of it is because this Panthers defense is just so bad. I do college breakdowns on Power Hour SEC and LSU. This felt like I was watching a college defense, not only schematics-wise, but just talent-wise. This is some of the worst pass rush lane integrity you'll ever see. This twist gets picked up to the bottom, and Trevor decides to roll out to the right side like this. This is never really a winning proposition. But you could see to the top, we have a spin move here, which turns your back to the quarterback. And then we have another spin from 11, and his back is also turned to the quarterback. So you have guys just running wild. Trevor, I can understand if that's Lamar or Jaden doing that, because those guys can do that on a consistent basis. Not the best work in the pocket ever, but Trevor does make something happen. And obviously, his legs are a weapon to a certain extent. Nice play action fake right here from Trevor Lawrence. And today, of course, we're going to break down one of the more epic collapses at the beginning of this NFL season. And to be honest, I'm actually going to give T-Law a lot of credit. So BTJ had himself a tough day, and Trevor found ways to work around it. This is honestly a really good job by the protection, and then Trevor just going through all of his progressions, eventually working Brenton Strange on the whip route, little pivot action to the inside, and he's able to pick up the first down. And then we get to hear really fun concept. I believe they ran this to BTJ for a touchdown last year versus Miami. And instead, this time it's De'Ami Brown running the deep over to the opposite pylon right here. And Trevor, while backing up, while getting hit, we know the arm is plenty good. Look at that throw, baby. Okay, so this is going to be a bigger part of your offense as the season moves on. And it was always a good sign for Bashal Tutin fans that when they got rid of Tank Bigsby, that showed that they have a lot of trust in Tutin to be the RB2. There's a dirty picture ahead. There's 92 that he has to worry about. But the speed of Bashal Tutin is truly incredible. He is a fantastic athlete. And I think in the perfect scenario, he has a Darren Sproles type of career. So Bashal Tutin, he's got a lot of juice. This throw from Trevor is one of those things where it feels like a big man is shooting a 30-foot three and he shoots 27% from that area. You're wincing when this ball is let go because there is good coverage on the play, but it's completed anyway. Trevor throws his football high. He's trusting his playmaker to go up there and get it, and he does. Okay, really nice play right there from Parker Washington. So now we get the potentially, I'm gonna use that word, worst INT of Trevor's game here. Trey Hendrickson is arguably the clutchest pass rusher in the NFL in the red zone here, generates a lot of pressure, and Trevor just throws his football up to Travis Hunter, and it's intercepted. Okay, this is just never being completed. And when you look at this pre-snap, you can see Travis Hunter is running a corner, and running this type of route versus this type of leverage here is oftentimes a losing proposition. I can understand if this is Justin Jefferson. You can see Travis Hunter runs a semi-decent route right here, but because he was under pressure, he was just trusting. Trav beat him really, really, really badly. NFL DBs are good enough to adjust in the red zone, and this play is picked. Okay, let's move ahead to this screen right here. The score is 7-7, so that turnover, instead of it being 10-0, was, it was a red zone turnover. Bengals drive down and score. But, the Travis Hunter screen game is going to be interesting. I know they want to get the football to him, but how good is he as a receiver? On the very next play, you get the 2nd and 3, put him on the same side as BTJ to hopefully draw some coverage. Good job by Trevor seeing that the coverage is really soft. Move the chains, good throw, good catch. And then obviously, can Travis Hunter do something? One thing I'll say about Travis is his change of direction isn't as smooth as one would like, right? Things do tend to move a little slow. His feet, he loses balance a little bit when he plays, and a lot of other facets as well. And here's another creative way to get him the football. You're running a little split zone action from the receiver, and obviously play action fake. Look at all this coverage it draws here to the left, so you're rolling out to the right side. This linebacker also slips. He slips, so once again, it could be the Cincinnati turf. Trav, a little bobble there, no big deal. I will say, as far as turf fields are concerned, the Saints had some massive tripping issues as well. One thing I will say about this play, let's make sure we get the first down. I understand we don't want to take big hits, but this was kind of a soft finish, and I think just depending on where this spotted, I don't think he actually got the first down looking at where he gave himself up. And believe it or not, he didn't. So we get to this play right here, and the funny thing about it is 2nd and 1s, analytically, it's actually the best down in football, especially in plus territory. I normally like to take shots on 2nd and 1. Well, giving the ball to Etienne is an explosive play waiting to happen based on how he's playing up to this point in the season. He is a Pro Bowler, arguably the best running back. Actually, I don't know. He might not even be the best running back in the AFC South up to this point because Jonathan Taylor's balling out of control. But Etienne is playing really well. And then when you get to the red zone, what do? Well, you call that same little screen with Bashal Tutin, right? The Kansas City Chiefs have done this with Travis Kelce. This honestly is a really good design here. I don't know if this was a miscommunication, but you could see here that the offensive linemen are screen releasing to the right, and you're actually throwing this to the left, okay? Another thing that helps out, look at this. Look at how many Bengals are on the ground. Just a calamitous group. at this point in the season. And tootin', he could toot, right? That wasn't the smoothest. But, oh well. God, this is really good quarterbacking from Trevor. This is good offense as well. I love motioning a receiver in a running start on a deep over, right? Especially if you're doing it versus man. And this gets passed off. They switch their assignments here. And then there's defenders he has to run through on his own. And Trevor sees that, and it's an easy throw to Parker Washington. It's good play design as well. Boom. A relatively quick hitting, explosive pass play. And look at where you are now. You're in field goal range. And Parker Washington showing off here. Okay, P-Dub. Let's go, P-Dub. Oh, man, he's still on his feet. Parker Washington. Parker Washington! But then, of course, it ends with the Trevor red zone interception. You come out of the 2-minute warning here, and Trevor throws his football up to Trav. And this isn't, to me, the absolute worst throw in the world. You would like to see this ball just go down. It's still not a good throw. Remember, he got away with something similar a little bit earlier. And this, honestly, is just an incredible pick and an unlucky bounce. Still, you don't want to be making that throw at all, okay? Ugh. 1st and 10, and, well, you guys are used to not great pass protection. This isn't the worst. Trevor steps up to help it. Okay, 2 hands on the football. You love to see it. Then you got to deal with Trey Hendrickson here. Not a good spot to be in. And Trev, against his body, just throws an effort ball, which is fine with 20 seconds left to go, I guess you could say, at the end of the second quarter. And he just throws this up to BTJ. And, well, this is good stuff from Travis Hunter. He hustles, and the ball bounces right to him. Okay? We'll take it. And here we go. This is more of a college type of thing. Let's just get the football out to Etienne really quickly. Okay? And now you have numbers. All right? You just need 3 blocks, and you hope Etienne can make one guy miss, and he does. Okay? He takes a bad angle, and guess what? You're walking into the end zone. A good block right there from Strange. Good job by Coen bringing in this heavy play-action fake offense. Really sell the run right here. And BTJ on deep overs is one of the best routes by any receiver in all of football right here. That play action really helps your protection as well, especially if you've been running the football well. Look at that throw. That is just really, really, really good stuff. Okay, let's get to this 3rd and goal. And look, there was a play in the preseason where I called out Trevor Lawrence's medicine ball to BTJ. Okay, this is where I'm going to push back on myself, right? I use that term some of the time, but quarterback is so difficult, in particular in the red zone, that as a receiver, there's always going to be risk of you getting hit big time, right? The benefit is you don't play in the old days where guys really could Sleepy Hollow you. I mean, this has just got to be better from BTJ. It just does, okay? I love him dearly, but you could see he kind of protects himself. It's a difficult grab right here, but he's ducking already. It needs to be better. Alrighty, what a call right here from Liam Coen, but also give Trevor a lot of credit for making this throw. It all starts with the protection. This is really, really, really well done. There is a twister coming around, but because Trevor Lawrence sees pre-snap that it's man-to-man, there is a deep safety, a single high safety. He knows with this leverage advantage right here, okay, this DB is trailing De'Ami Brown. He knows that this sideline is going to be open. Okay, so you have a stop or an in-breaker right here, and Trevor sees that this is open. Okay, you could always say that the ball could be delivered a half second sooner. I think it's just fine right here. But, man, look at this. Look at this. This is elite quarterbacking in the National Football League, baby. All right, so let's move ahead to this 3rd and 14. And, honestly, this is some good play calling from Coen. It looks like you're waving the white flag here by just handing this football off. But no, you might be able to pick up all the yards, force them to have to make a tackle, and Bashal Tutin's got real juice. So you get here, and then we get into the controversial decision to go for this on 4th and 5. Look, I am a math guy, and the math says to go for it here, and I am in agreement with the math. Okay, sometimes I disagree with the 4th down clocks that are out there, or the 4th down bots, if you will, that says go for it or not go for it. In this instance, going for it and getting this doesn't necessarily end the game either, because the Bengals still had 3 timeouts left, and you still need to score a touchdown to justify this decision. But a field goal still keeps it a one-possession game. Jamar Chase is on that other sideline. And obviously, if BTJ catches this, even if he's stopped short right here, it's a lot different starting this drive on this yard line compared to this yard line. So, yes, it's a bad drop by BTJ. He's probably... Is he getting this if he catches it smoothly and falls forward? He probably is. It would be very close. But the drop is still big, even if he didn't get the yards to gain. So, what do we make of this Trevor Lawrence performance? Well, I am the single most vocal Trevor Lawrence skeptic, if you want to call me a hater, all those different things. But like I said at the beginning of the video, this game from number 16 was actually, to me, pretty good. Again, we start off here with Trevor Lawrence throwing the smash concept here to me, the best player on this offense, which is Brenton Strange. Really, until BTJ gets it all together, Strange has just been amazing. And honestly, BTJ shows you why he actually is the best player on this offense in terms of ceiling. It's because he's got that frame where you just got to throw it to him, and he's going to make things happen. Boom! Look at that. Beautiful stuff. And oh my goodness, Trevor Lawrence, you dirty animal. You see why when he's on, okay? This is ridiculous. Fitting this ball into this window. There are easier throws to be made here, as you can clearly see. But look at this from T-Law. Are you freaking kidding me? That is really, really, really elite stuff. And thankfully, Parker Washington actually caught it. We get to this 3rd and 9, and this is the rep that Trevor Lawrence is getting criticized for pretty mightily. Obviously, you would like to get this to BTJ. I'm a little perplexed why he didn't actually throw this to Brian Thomas Jr. What I'm thinking here is he thought that this safety was actually going to fan out, and that this post being run behind BTJ would actually be the better option. I think it's tough for him to see that the safety went this far into the box here, but you would like to see him actually get this football right here to BTJ for the tutty, and you can understand why Brian is frustrated that it wasn't thrown to him. 3rd and St. Marco, 3rd and Point Verde. What else are we going to say? Jacksonville suburbs. Either way, you never want to be in this spot. And, in this situation, you should always just hit your check down. You're up by 4. Let's play some field position. And, well, Trevor just takes a sack. At this point, you just got to eat it. And he does. So, yes, you're not picking this up. But this is a change in at least 20 yards of field position equity. So, Okay, so it's kind of strange trying to figure out what the Travis Hunter role actually is going to be. So far, it's mostly been a slot option, and you see a leverage advantage right here, Travis Hunter. You have BTJ running the vertical. These corners and safeties are back, and this is a good job by Trevor. Just get the football to him, and let's see what he could do. This is a nasty juke. So you're thinking as a backer, he's cutting back in. He gives a little wiggle, and then actually cuts upfield. That is nasty, nasty work right there from Mr. Travis Hunter. And, well, not the biggest guy, so you don't want him taking a big hit, but you do want to see him juking Bullock out of his shoes for an absolutely massive game. 3rd and 3, give this Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line a lot of credit. They really did some good things in this game. You're running mesh, the most popular third and medium concept at all levels of football. As you can see, there's 2 receivers running with the tight end, so you like to think this mesh is going to be open, and it is. Really, really, really good stuff. That's a good run after the catch right there by Parker Washington. He's able to break Bullock's tackle, who's having a tougher day at the office than you would like to see if you're a Texans fan, and it is a first down. 3rd and Beach Haven. 3rd and Fleming Island. I'm naming every Jacksonville suburb on 3rd and long tonight. So you can see here that Trevor Lawrence learns his lesson. Let's just hit the check down. The protection this time is really good, but I want to warn you. What you're about to witness is the single best yak tight end play since like prime George Kittle. I mean, this is truly Notice I said fruck, YouTube. Make him miss. Boom, boom. How is he still on his feet? Look at it again. Y'all, juke a safety, and then this. Boom. Helmet to helmet contact right here. Boom. How? And that's the dirty player, I think. Yes, it is the dirty player. What? What is that? What is that? How? I like that Trevon Walker's really firing him up. Okay? That's wild. Y'all, please. Like, I am worried about his health. Let's go to this 3rd and 13. Okay? Obviously, I don't want to go too long on some of these plays, but yeah, you don't want to be in so many 3rd and longs and still have a chance to win this game, which is wild. You're not only a chance, you're winning. You're leading. This is really good stuff from Trevor. Obviously, this time, Will Anderson, he's going to get his every now and then. Look at this sidearm throw around him. Boom. The arm talent has never been in question, but it is eventually dropped. So this offensive design is really, really, really good. Okay, you've had some success running, some using quotations. Jaguar fans, let me know if you think Bashal Tutin's going to take over this room. I was a little shocked at how much Allen played. But this is just really good stuff. So you get in 12 personnel on 1st and 10, and you give Trevor a few options. You can either get vertical, but then you have a leaking tight end who stays in to block. So you get there's layers upon layers upon layers about why this is such a good offensive play. Play action on 1st down, which I love. Verticals from your freaks, Strange and, of course, BTJ over here. Then you're given the leak from behind on from your second tight end. It's really good offense, right? Protection does break down over the middle, but that's just, it's genius stuff from Liam Coen. Really, really, really good stuff, okay? And boom, 17. You guys let me know who 17 is. 3rd and 4, and you guys know, Jaguar Nation, I love you. But I love BTJ more than I love this team, okay? That might lose me some subscribers, but, I'm an LSU guy first. And BTJ, first off, this is a really good concept right here. If you know they like to play man coverage, let's run a man beater, okay? So you have Parker Washington run through here. You get BTJ in the slot. First thing about this rep is you could see he's struggling to keep his feet here. So he's already tripping here. Then Trevor sees that it's still there, throws an absolute dot while he's getting hit, and boom. Okay? I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. So Liam's got to be better at getting this offense ahead of the sticks. I mean, it's just way too many 3rd and 10s. But what makes Drew Brees and Tom Brady and all the greats so great is that they don't lose a game, right? If you really just broke down their careers, there's a whole lot of boring. Let's just play boring football. Let's just hit this. We've already seen Strange do some ridiculous things with the yak. And Trevor decides to fit this ball in here. Okay? What? What? In what world is this okay? In what world is this okay? All right, so you get in a 5 wide, and man, this is just simple stuff. I mean, honestly, like this overload on 3rd and 4, I don't know what exactly you're doing defensively. This turns into cover 2 at the snap. And, well, if I'm Trevor, just judging by what this coverage actually is, unless this guy backs up, I'm taking this matchup Strange all day, every day versus this backer. And that's all Trevor needs to do. Boom. Okay. Could it come out a little bit earlier? Maybe so. But we do get it there, and it is a first down. Really good stuff. And then, once again, I shouldn't cut a Strange catch short anytime. So this right here is good process by Trevor Lawrence. So I'm not showing this to you on the play before. He had a check down to one of his tight ends to make it a manageable 4th. All right, so that's good process. This is also really good process on this angle route right here from Parker Washington. It's there. The DT just makes a really, really, really good deflection. But it's good stuff, right? It's good stuff from Trevor. Man, Trevor Lawrence, this is so good. So good on this 3rd and 6, okay? You always know you're going to get one dumb Trevor INT in a game. I don't know if that's ever going to change. And even though this wasn't a high-scoring game, God, I mean, he did some really, really good things. And once again, I know a lot of you were in my mentions last week, me saying Trevor's the worst quarterback in the NFL. At cost, I think he is. Maybe Tua's worst, but man, runs like that will change your opinion. And then guess what? Game on the line, somewhat season on the line in a tough AFC. A divisional win right here is so big. MVP was the offensive line. I mean, they nearly pitched a shutout in this game. And then, of course, Trevor hits BTJ. Watch this. Boom. Right in the chest. And I want to start off here with a Liam Coen thing that I love is how analytically focused he is. Take a look at this on 2nd and short, backed up inside your own 20. 2nd and short should always be a throwing down. That's exactly what he does. He runs all vertical stuff, and then he's got a check down if he wants it. And look at this throw right here from Trevor freaking Lawrence to BTJ on the comebacker. The Jags won this game on the offensive line, and you could see it on this play. Look at the movement that you get on this play side defensive tackle. That is nasty. And then when you have rookie wide receivers like Travis Hunter ready to block like this, that is some really good buy-in. You can see the DT gets all the way up to Fred Warner, and you're always going to get absolutely massive gains of yards in the run game when you have that kind of block. Third in St. Petersburg here. Look at this, man. Wow from Trevor Lawrence. He sees that this corner is playing off of him, and he knows BTJ is running a deep out. This is one of Trevor's better throws and one of his favorite throws, to be honest. Look at where this is placed. Boom. And then we move ahead to this run play right here, outside zone to the left side. This is ridiculously good stuff right here from the Jacksonville Jaguar blocking. These are two of the best receiving threats at their own position, making good blocks. Strange, a really good receiving tight end, good block. BTJ, obviously, a really good receiver, an elite block. I'm telling you right now, BTJ, when he was fully locked in at LSU, had some of the more ridiculous blocks you'll ever see in that dead leg from Etienne. It's abso-freaking-lutely nasty. And look, how many running backs in the NFL are playing better than TE1? 3rd and 15, this is one of the bolder throws. I love this from Trevor Lawrence. And it's not bold in terms of the read. You can see that the safety flies out here. So a seam ball is open down the seam on a vertical. I love the fact that Trevor's not afraid to throw in Travis Hunter's way, even though in the last couple of games it's resulted in some INTs. But look at where this is placed, and look at that catch. I mean, the dude is a freak. Wow. You're not a great offense if you don't put this into your playbook. Verticals where there is one guy running directly behind the other, it is nearly impossible to guard an out. Okay, the blitz pickup is still really good. Look at that. Boom. Okay, good stuff. This almost became old Trevor Lawrence. Okay, this is just really bad at the start. In this game, your pocket has been really good. There's no need to get really antsy when things are looking like this. And you have one of the best tight ends in the NFL. You've converted so many of these pivot route first downs, even all the way back into the preseason. So Trevor, it's like, okay, I can work backside after being very jittery. And he does do that very thing, and it's an easy first down. So it's really, really, really good. This is what you need to do. If they're going to keep playing off of BTJ, you just need to keep throwing these outs. And I understand it sucks for your BTJ fantasy ownership. You want the deep stuff, but that's why you should only play in PPR leagues. The weirdest thing about the 49ers defensive issues is they have been the team that's always really good everywhere. But now, their defensive tackle room is a mess. You get a really good second-level block, and this Jaguars offensive line honestly won y'all this game. It really was that good. And honestly, this is a nasty move by Tootin. This is tripping, okay? That should be a flag, but I don't know. And look at this stuff. I mean, it's just nasty offensive misdirection. And you have Trevor Lawrence rolling out here to the right side. The chip wasn't the best, but it does get Trevor around here. And Long was by far the Jaguars' highest graded offensive player per PFF. So take a look at this. Long, a good block, and then he leaks, okay? That draws this safety all the way into the box, and now Long is past him, okay? The safety knows it. Trevor just has to throw this football up into this space, and, well, it's a touchdown. It's really nasty. Now, Trevor has something with these deep outs with BTJ. If corners are going to continue to play scared, keep working them. Now, when you go up against some better corners, you're not going to have this like they gave you all first half, but still, it's easy, easy, easy stuff, and he's able to get out of bounds to preserve that. All right, it wouldn't be a Jags game if you didn't have one of these chaotic moments from T-Law. And, yeah, I mean, it is very chaotic. So he steps up into this pocket, and he decides to throw this football against his body, and it gets picked up. But luckily enough, they did call pass interference. That's still not one I probably want to throw, but the drive continues, okay? This was a play that the Dolphins ran for a touchdown versus the Jets on Monday Night Football, and it's nasty. You get really good blocks on the edge, and let's go back to the actual snap. You have BTJ on the jet sweep motion, and you're pulling both these linemen to the left side, and it's a pitch out here, okay? So you could see that Long is giving up a good bit of penetration right here, but it does give Etienne a running start downhill, and now you're in business, okay? 25 just gets absolutely thrown out of the club, and Fred Warner gets slammed, okay? That's the best linebacker arguably in the NFL. And now you get a nasty block down the field. Okay, I understand they don't have Joey Bosa, but it's still nasty work what they did to this 49ers defensive line. I mean, they toyed with them. It was really physical stuff. Simple outside zone run for 5. And then we get to this 3rd and 13. I know we're skipping quite a few plays. I don't want these to ever just be too long. Trevor decides to eat this and then just work to his check down, which is fine, but the truth is a lot of Travis Hunter reps are resulting in interceptions and fumbles. And once again, this is Fred Warner, the best linebacker in the NFL, but this has got to get fixed. It has got to get cleaned up. It's a good recovery right there, and you end up kicking a field goal. All right, so you get the Parker Washington punt return touchdown. That was epic. And yeah, this 2-point conversion play was a mess. Okay, this is a mess. And then you work backside. This is actually one of Trevor's best throws in his arsenal. He's really good at throwing to the back of the end zone. It's just Fred Warner. I mean, you're watching a Hall of Famer do some really big things in this game. And look at these seats. I have to know how much these cost. I really, really, really do. That is so interesting. Wow. I love this from Coen. I really, really, really do. So the 49ers find a way back into the game, and you're running a quick out once again with BTJ. Go back to your bread and butter play. Make them have to stop that. And then BTJ is able to cut up field. He's really good normally at making the first guy miss. Can't do it there. Dear freaking Lord. This throw, I mean, I say it's a throw, it's a run, okay? One thing I'll say about this run right here is if this was a true RPO, this should have been a pull and throw right here. This is a lot of space for Travis Hunter to work with. But Etienne's been really good. They decide to run this, and it's honestly not there. But Etienne waits for this hole to open up. He could see Fred Warner is jumping into this gap. He waits for it and then gets vertical. Y'all, he's playing at such a high freaking level right now. It's ridiculous. 3rd and 11, really good quarterbacking from Trevor Lawrence. You have to know that they're going to bring pressure here because if you get a sack, you have to punt. Well, maybe not with Cam Little, but still. You want to get rid of it quickly. You're probably getting man coverage. So let's work our tight end versus a corner to give our field goal kicker a better kick. And, man, it's just really good quarterbacking. It really is. All right, let's go to this 3rd and 5. An effective run game helps you when you want to split zone your tight end, which is bringing them across the back and having them slip into this open void. And because Etienne had been kicking ass, look at all that gravity. And guess what? You're able to complete this pass and win the game. This was a really solid performance from Trevor Lawrence. You broke through. There were so many instances where you honestly thought this game was going to just jag off like you guys are so used to. But what does Trevor Lawrence do? He takes defeat from the jaws of victory and then, well, he leads this drive to the promised land. So we start off with a pretty chaotic play. The Jaguars have 2 timeouts left. And, of course, the difference in this game was how good Trevor was as a runner. This was a bold cutback to take the yards instead of running out of bounds. So we get to here, and Chris Jones is the best clutch pass rusher of all time for a reason. You can't have a tight end only blocking him while he's at defensive end. So you would like 72 to get off of this. So pre-snap, this is pretty easy, okay? So you can see he looks left and then looks back to the inside. You should already be snapping your head back over here to help out because this is going to get ugly pretty quickly. So, yeah, Trevor Lawrence has to dig this play out of a hole because, well, it was all deep routes, and he's able to beat Chris Jones here to the outside, and now just throw it away, right? You're past the pocket, if you will. Throw the damn thing away. So he ends up taking a pretty bad sack here, and now you're in trouble. Alrighty, the defining throw of Trevor Lawrence's career, at least since the Chargers comeback. We start off here with a snap that is a little to his right. He is able to still pick it up cleanly, and it's okay that that snap was a little to the right because the center is now head up versus Chris Jones. So he was over here, and now he's here. This is a good job by 72. He sees that 90 is not coming downhill. He's twisting around. This gets passed off really nicely here, and then it gets passed off really nicely here. This honestly was as well played right here by the right tackle because he feels that the guard is really losing this block. So he holds here and then basically just decides, hey, I'm going to leave him untouched, looping around here. Okay. And then at the last second, he's able to actually get a piece. I mean, that is as well as it could have been done by both offensive tackles here. Now, this also was very interesting right here from Trevor Lawrence. He sees that this safety goes into the box and this safety goes center field. And pre-snap, you wouldn't like the go ball down the sideline to BTJ, but because the safety was, leaking over to the middle here, now Trevor's like, okay, if I could throw this perfectly down the sideline, I have a little window to complete this. This to Travis Hunter is not going anywhere short of the sticks, and you got to burn the final timeout. So Trevor, and was this ball deflected? No. I mean, that's about as perfect of a throw. And then the hand does go in front of BTJ's face. He's still able to bring it in and then take an absolutely positively big shot right here from Connor. Good stuff. And then, my goodness gracious, Trevor Lawrence. You would think this was number 15 who made this throw. So you heard Troy Aikman on the broadcast talk about leverage, okay? Running it out versus outside leverage is very difficult. Leverage basically is who is shaded in what direction. So if this safety was on the hash, that means that this receiver would have outside leverage on the DB and the DB would have inside leverage on the receiver. And here it's the opposite, right? He has outside leverage and you're trying to get to the outside. It's difficult. So Trevor really has to trust Dyami Brown, and I know it gets cut off here, to get to the outside. And because Brown has really good speed and Trevor has an absolute laser, he's able to fit that ball in there. Get the other angle here. Part of the benefit of this is that you do have a receiver going up against a flat-footed DB right there. And, man, that is just really, really, really sexy stuff. It takes such a high-level decisive throw to make that throw. And Trevor, well, he played with a lot of confidence. All righty, we get to this next play, and this was a big problem with this final Jaguars drive. Just too many plays being bled down to inside 5 seconds on the play clock. But either way, this is a really dangerous throw. We need Trevor in this spot to climb this pocket, okay, to help out your rushers because the protection here is immaculate yet again. So he's really deep in this drop, and that does open yourself up to getting the ball swiped. You can see he was affected by this rush when he decided to make this very dangerous throw, okay? It gets batted away. Glad he didn't throw this to BTJ. We don't know what Travis Hunter actually did there. The leaking tight end was also picked up, and you live to fight another day. Alrighty, so, I don't mind this play call on 2nd and 15. I really, really, really don't. You're hoping in this situation that the Chiefs are bringing one of those patented all-out blitzes. I probably would have checked out of this play if I were Trevor, but once again, you just had a delay of game penalty. You would prefer to run this if there are more people at the line of scrimmage. And this right here from Dyami Brown ends up being really big, okay? So he's able to make Bolton miss because this block wasn't that clean, and then he was able to cut back on this defensive lineman, and he finally gets chased down from behind by Karlaftis, and these yards ended up being very pivotal. Now, the Jaguars elected to use their final timeout here. I probably wouldn't have done that here, but to each their own. All right, 3rd and goal. And basically the Jaguars are running smash, and this time they do bring everyone, okay? Part of the equity of just bringing everybody here is that you know that they're probably not running something short yet again. Also, if for some reason you're able to get a sack, you're basically winning the game after this with no timeouts left. So from the Chiefs' vantage point, this was a really good call. And then what's even better here is the blitz protection. LaQuint Allen, the rookie, the reason he plays so much is because of his blitz pickup. And he does a really good job stonewalling one of the better blitzers in the NFL, Nick Bolton. And all of this is really, really, really good. Okay, the only block that was missed was the guard going up against Aminihu, but one of these blocks is going to get blown at some point. So Trevor does a good job just feeling this out. And versus single high, knowing that BTJ has all this space to work with over here, this is just really, really, really good quarterbacking right here from Trevor. Now, I would need the all-22 to see if it could have been released a little bit sooner, but it really couldn't have. It doesn't change anything for me. This is elite quarterbacking, as good as it gets, if you ask me. Throw it up. We don't want to throw this to Travis Hunter. We want to get this football into the end zone, and let's just see what BTJ can do. It's a clear pass interference instead of an INT, and there you go. And this is my favorite reaction right here. Look at all of this. Oh, man. You can't really beat that. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. That is legendary. Jaguar fans, let me know if you want me to do a breakdown of Trevor's full game. That's how we normally do it, but I wanted to just show you that this man has some true gusto. I don't dislike Trevor. I have said it plenty of times, even though in the past I've said he is the worst quarterback in the NFL. That is not the case anymore, especially at cost, right? I do factor that into the equation, and that title now belongs comfortably to Tua Tagovailoa. But the truth is, Trevor is really starting to play better, okay? Now, once again, this Jaguars offensive line was big all game long. So, Trevor gets tripped. The only reason this play worked is because the guard helps with the DT here, Jerry Tillery. Then the guard is able to get off of that, and then boom. Okay, 76 puts all of his might into the end. And once the end is on the ground, Trevor has all this space to work with. The contain is indeed lost right here, and Trevor is off to the races. Now, you guys know I love me some Chris Jones. And there's going to be some Chiefs fans that will indeed watch this because Kansas City is just so big on this channel. This is unacceptable right here from Chris Jones. You just can't do this, all right? So you get stonewalled, and he just gives up, right? He's looking at Trevor Lawrence, and you'll see he just stops. He stops, all right? Now, if he is still active and still chasing this down, he's probably getting to Trevor pretty easily after the trip. So it's not just Aminihu, 90, who falls down. I put more of this on Chris Jones, right? If you hustle and you stay active, you're getting over 99. Maybe he doesn't catch him, but you just can't have this right here. And he's still not going after Trevor. Big mistake, and it could end up costing the Chiefs something even bigger. But we start off here with kind of a weird concept. I was able to see the all-22. Both of these verticals were so close together, which made it easier to defend, and Trevor decides to roll out here to the left side, and, well, Byron Murphy was a first-round pick for a very good reason. There's not many DTs that are chasing Trevor down here. I understand he sees this space. He's trying to just run out of bounds, but you start off with a negative gain. And then we get to the 2nd and 22, and it's pretty clear that the Jaguars want to force feed Travis Hunter on low A-dot routes. I know he was open and made some plays on some deep stuff, but look at how quickly they are ejecting themselves down the field here to make this play. So Travis elects to cut this back, and, well, So the more physical team were the Seattle Seahawks. This was a game where you missed Brenton Strange. This is just nasty work to set this edge, but this is just nastier running back play because Bashal Tutin is an elite athlete. Obviously, Tootin's career will probably play out like a Darren Sproles type of player, and he picks up a really good game. 3rd and 11, and this is Nick, I believe, Ewing Marner out of South Carolina. I like him a lot. He's an amazing athlete, and you're just late over here to pick it up, okay? Let me see. Is that Tootin or Allen protecting here? Either way, he's untouched through here, and Trevor's in a lot of trouble, and he just basically throws this away. There's an underneath defender, and, there you go. 3rd and Yulee. Speaking of Yulee, Derrick Henry, my God, he is going through it. Anyway, you get to this play, very exotic pressure. This time you're ready for it, and you pick it up, okay? Well, you pick up the pressure. There's still a lot of pressure. And Trevor's able to step up and do a Trevor Lawrence, right? You occasionally get these plays from Trevor. He is a very, very good athlete, and he gets his football out into the flats, and you're able to pick up a first down. Really, really, really good play right there from Trev. This is going to be a concern for the Jaguars moving forward. Obviously you're going up against one of the better defensive coaching staffs in the NFL. They knew going into this, these quick screens, quick flats, quick throws is what really gets this offense going, and they were just keyed in on it. And then, my goodness gracious, 3rd and Green Cove here. Oh, boy. Trevor Lawrence, you filthy animal. Let's just throw this ball to BTJ. I know we're staring him down the entire time, but there we go. He is indeed open. And, God, what took that safety so long? I got to go pull up the all-22, but it is complete. Brutal day for Travis Hunter. 7 targets, 15 total yards, but you do have this play right here. Now, this does show you his yak ability, but a lot of guys in the spot are making the defender miss in the flat, okay? So you do give him a lot of credit for doing something pretty special here. But one thing about Travis is when it comes to his footing, there's a lot of steps in his routes, right? There's a lot of steps when he gets the football, and you do see him occasionally just slip and trip, right? He's not as fluid of a mover as others. Now, once he gets the football in his hands and balanced and ready to go, he's absolutely lethal. I know I didn't word that the best a minute ago, but good stuff right here. Play calling is as much about sequencing as it is the plays themselves. So you saw a quick screen get blown up a minute ago. So guess what? We're going to run a quick screen, but actually have BTJ release. Now you do get a little lucky here because this safety rolls into the box. This safety then goes center field. So that opens up the space a little bit more. So you fake the quick screen, and then you have BTJ just go, and it's a massive bust. And this is the easiest touchdown BTJ will ever score in his career. Even though it's slightly behind him, he's going to be able to walk in relatively easy. Really good stuff. 3rd and 8, and we get again, like we saw in the first play of the game, same side verticals. I know it cuts off here. These were just swallowed whole, both of these routes. There was honestly nothing open. Okay, and then everything to the backside was also just covered pretty badly. Okay, so there's really not a whole lot Trevor can do about this. Okay, so he ends up taking a sack. Did the tackles get pushed into his lap? Sure, this is a good eat right here by Trevor. You had the lead, no disaster plays. So that's good quarterbacking right there. 2nd and 2, midway through the second quarter, the Seahawks have taken the lead. I almost said the Steelers. Play action fake. This is really good quarterbacking right here by Trevor. 2 hands on the football. Let's step up into this pocket. This operation right here could have been a little smoother to not have the false step. You could have just smoothly stepped up into it. So smoothly step into it, then set your feet. But this is obviously a rolling throw or a running throw, if you will. It does get there in time to BTJ. Look at that catch. Good stuff right there. Yeah, this is one of Liam Coen's worst plays of the year. It's 3rd and 15, and I know Cam Little had already missed an extra point, but he's still the biggest legged kicker in the league, okay? why are you running everything vertically, right? If you get it anywhere right here, you're giving him a chance from what, 57? Instead, if you kick from here, you're getting into that mid 60s range. So why is everything being run deep? Deep here, stop here, deep here. And there's nothing for Trevor to work with short. Okay? So Trevor ends up doing a good job eventually finding this check down. This could have just been lofted over into the flat. He instead dangerously tries to flip it backhand around. If you're going to do this, if you really want to get creative, put the ball in your left hand and then throw it. I have seen a QB do that before. But, God, if you complete this, you're actually getting some decent yards here. But it does hit the ground, and it's in 3rd and 4. And we all know Parker Washington is talented. So you have him matched up against a safety. You have a blitzer just flying off the edge, and boom. Trevor is still able to make this throw. He's wide open, but this is still big time to me. Okay, really good throw, really good catch, really good route. All right, we get to this 3rd and 7, and this turns into a deeper mesh-ish variation where you're running a crosser here and a crosser here to try and get Travis Hunter going. He was at a leverage disadvantage. This guy was shaded to the inside. It would be nice if you can turn this into an option, right? If this guy's to the inside, let's just whip it with Travis back out this way. It is tough to do. It's not Madden where you could just option route everything. So, look, this is really good stuff by Trevor. He stays alive here. And, man, this is just really good athleticism to basically outrun this defensive lineman and really get into your high horse. I think that was Boy Mafi. So he's falling forward and he's able to pick up the first down. 3rd and 9, this was not a great protection day from this offensive line by any means. So you have a lot of pressure being penetrated through here, and then you have a blitzer flying off the edge, okay? It's honestly really easy where we are sitting from to say, hey, let's just flip this out quicker to right here, but that's why we're sitting right here. Okay, it's hard to go full field all the way to the check down to the left. God bless America. This is really, really, really good stuff by Travis Hunter. Once again, we're mostly showing you just his highlights. It overall was a tough day. His targets just in general, but you're able to play pitch and catch and pick up a first down. There are some real instances where Trevor gets bad deer in the headlights and everything is just moving too fast for him. Okay, so we're here, and then we have this, all right? You also have BTJ running an inbreaker. Once again, the Seattle defensive plan was just better. It is over my head to break down everything because, Coen is such a great play caller. The Seahawks Brain Trust is such a great group of play callers. And ultimately, when you have two great units going against each other, a lot of times it does come down to just the QB making plays and their guys just making plays up front. And Byron Murphy had one of his better games as a Seahawk, okay? So that ball could have been rifled in to Trav, but, man, that is just a ridiculous sack. You just can't take that one. Alrighty. So was Trevor not good in this game? Yes. But Walker Little, man, I gave you so much love last week, both of these Jaguars offensive tackles. But I don't recall a safety ever, and I mean ever, punking out an offensive tackle quite like this, okay? I am dead serious about this. Watch this. That's presented without comment. Ask my wife. It takes a lot for me to be silenced. This is, I think his name's Drake Thomas. That sounds like a character off the Disney Channel. Not a freaking linebacker that should be throwing an offensive lineman down. Look, this is a bowling ball knocking down all these pins, okay? God bless America. That is just nasty. He actually would have fell down if there wasn't offensive lineman right here. And Walker Little's like, wait, what happened? There's nothing Trevor can do about that. And it also doesn't help that your guys right here are falling over. Jaguars were out of sync. Okay. Short week, partying too much after the Monday night victory. 4th and 5. It looks like this to Travis Hunter does open up. Once again, it's Byron Murphy just being an absolute freak. He is truly on the brink of superstardom. I don't watch him enough to say that, though. I should be fair. But my draft grade on him was so good coming out. And this is just good playground football right here by Trevor. It's 4th down. Give it a chance. Boom. Okay? Good. Still know what Trevor was doing here. It looks as if he's got an option, right? If it's man coverage, let's work this slant to the bottom. But that just swallowed whole. That would also make more sense if that was BTJ to the bottom. So now we're working backside. This is there. He gets off of that, and then he decides, hey, maybe I should throw the screen into the flat. He then decides to not do that. He then steps up, and it looks as if he was trying to do one of those running throws again. That's just never really a thing that I like NFL quarterbacks to do. So, once again, footwork is just all over the place, and he just floats a ball right where there's a coverage defender, and he over-pursues it, and it works, okay? Jaguars have caught the breaks for the most part this year. And, all right, there's really nothing you can say bad. In fact, this would have been one of the better throws on the season. It's risky on 3rd and 5. Can you actually throw this football to Travis Hunter and get the job done? Sure, okay? But Trevor goes high level in a somewhat dirty-ish pocket. He steps up, good base, big frame. We know he's got an absolute howitzer. Is that how you pronounce it? And look at where this is placed. Boom. I mean, y'all, you can't play quarterback better than that. I'm not going to give any energy in this video because the Jags gave very little themselves, all the way where they put shrimps on a Barbie. Oh, my goodness gracious. Trevor steps up, and he, jumps right into the arms of Jared Verse, which is not fun. So we get to hear it's Jared Verse again, beating Walker Little to the inside, and Walker is starting to fall apart, basically. And Trevor is right to see BTJ running this out past the sticks. Could he have still ripped this? Maybe so. So instead, he decides to work over the middle, and it's a wobbler. Looks like that might have been deflected, and it's incomplete. Really good play call here, but this has got to stop. It has got to stop. Quit trying to hurdle and leap people, especially if you're a wide receiver. It makes a little bit more sense if you're a tight end. But if you look at this, you get a handoff, you have a full head of steam, you're going up against a guy that isn't the most physical in the world. Just cut it up, right? Just cut this thing up. Don't try and run directly into him, leap, and then hurt yourself potentially. Boom. And then we go a few plays later, they run it again, and the star of the day was Travis Hunter. Look at this. Boom. Going up against a linebacker, baptized by the Lord himself. That is excellent blocking right there from Mr. TH12. Wow. And then we get to, a not-so-great rep right here from Travis Hunter. It's 3rd and 12. And Trevor decides to throw this quickly because, there's an unblocked blitzer running through here. If Travis Hunter is looking at this and actually catching this, this is a pretty big gain. He has a blocker right here as well because there was a bust. Nobody accounted for the running back out of the backfield. Ugh. Okay, this is the sign of an elite coach. I know the Jaguars are skidding a little bit here. But on 3rd and 1, with you down 14, you want to actually try and take a shot while getting in a heavy personnel, because if you don't pick it up, you can then just go for it on 4th down, and they are going to be treating this as if it is going to be a run. So it's really hard to guard against it, especially if you tell the wide receiver and Tim Patrick. Another added bonus on this is that it's not BTJ or Hunter or Washington run it. It's your wide receiver 4 who's thicker, more of the blocking type. So you initially think he's blocking here, but he's actually going out on a route, and you're running Yankee or Yankee variation, vertical with an over being run right behind it, and you have a wide open explosive pass play. So a lot of coaches on 3rd and 1 are just running it short to make sure they're able to pick up the first down to avoid the 4th down call, but that decision right there ended up being an explosive play. 3rd and 2, and it's tough for me to show this play. And I won't say why it's difficult for me. My super diehard Power Hour NFL Jags know why. But, it is what it is. Dear Lord, this is some really good quarterbacking by Sir Trevor Lawrence. He steps up into this pocket. These rushers are getting very aggressive. The middle of the offensive line does a good job of giving Trevor somewhere to actually step up. And look at this. It's a thing of beauty to BTJ, who does a good job of finding a wide open space. Good stuff. Can BTJ split and turn this into something big? He can't. And then something else I like, you hurry up to the line or you're going at a relatively somewhat fast pace here, and you call a very safe play, okay? Verticals here, you can alert it if you want to, if you actually get the look, or you can hit the leaker. Okay, the guy that shipped Verse to help out Little. This is such elite offensive coaching. Okay, good stuff. I know you're down 21 and they're playing it soft, but still, nasty, nasty, nasty work right there. 1st and 10, and you get a nasty tight window throw from Trevor. God bless America. This is some really high-level stuff right here from T-Law. It's a tight window. Look at this. Is able to rifle that bad boy in there. Boom. 3rd and 7, and this does look like he could have worked this corner route to BTJ in the red zone right here. But especially in the red zone, these corners or this DB right here is able to play both of these routes a lot easier. So it looks open, but it's not as open as one would think. So Trevor throws this out, and it looks like it's just thrown a little too far away. And you're in a tough spot here. Okay, 4th and 7, you just got to kick the field goal here. I can understand if you have a minute left in the 3rd quarter. There's just too much football left to be played. I understand a field goal doesn't really do a whole lot for you, but nothing's open. They can really play with their heels on the sticks right here. So Trevor decides to roll out to the left side. Is there anything he could have at least just put up into the air to throw? No. Okay, and so he takes off and he's not able to pick it up. Okay, so let's move ahead to this 3rd quarter, and that's when Travis Hunter really started to heat up. And this is really what he's been as a player up to this point. Just kind of a short range option. He had a nasty juke, I believe, in that Seahawks game. This is just nasty, a little stutter right there to number 48. A proud LSU Tiger there, and he's able to pick up a first down. Okay, 3rd and 2. This is some not-so-great quarterbacking here by Trevor Lawrence. It's pretty clear that they're going to play man coverage on this side, okay? Even if they aren't, I am working my slot receiver versus a linebacker on a pivot with a leverage advantage all day, every day. But Trevor sees how far off this corner is, so he decides to go on ahead and rip this to the tight end, and it's way overthrown. So you look at this. Let's just work Parker Washington right here. Just very, very simple pitch and catch. 4th and 2, and there always seems to be with Trevor in particular these instances where he's throwing the football and the receivers aren't even looking at him. Okay? So it's fine to throw with the anticipation. You want a quarterback, especially with his talent and this experience level, to be doing these things. But, I mean, I really, it's 2nd and 2, play action, fake, and once again, it's Trevor doing his thing with his legs. Walker Little got better as the game moved on versus Jared Verse in clear passing situations, so I give him a lot of credit there. And now Trevor is off to the races. Now, of course, this wasn't a clear passing situation, but still, good stuff by Trevor, making guys miss and then getting out of bounds. So one thing about Jacksonville, will they get this run game going? The last 3 weeks, of course, they've gone up against arguably three of the better teams in the NFL, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, and who's the other one whose name slips my mind? Either way, this is a good, strong run by Etienne, and they have to start getting this going again because they were one of the funnest run games in the NFL early in the season. All right, so this is a very popular way to deal with these kinds of blitzes. This is really good stuff from the Rams. So they put Jared Verse over Walker Little in a 5-man protection, and obviously if you were to protect this in a zero blitz-ish kind of look, you want to make sure the interior gaps are taken care of instead of the outerior gaps, okay? I know outerior is not a word, but in a perfect world, you want the left guard picking this up, the center picking him up, and Little picking up the blitzer. So they know with Little having so much attention on Jared Verse that there's going to be more blitz equity. In other words, the chances he'll come unblocked if you have Jared Verse over Little in that spot. That's really good defensive scheming right there. So the slot corner blitz, it's untouched, and a lot of quarterbacks do this backwards spin to run around unblocked players. The problem is when you do the spin, you've got to have this defender be closer to you. If not, he has enough time to redirect and then get you, okay? So if you're going to do that, you've got to make him miss. If not, you're all the way back here in Green Cove, and you're in the land of, what, tea and crumpets? Huh? So 3rd and 23. This is just nonsensical quarterback play. Nonsensical, okay? Just get some yards to make this a reasonable 4th. There's no need to throw any of this with these defenders this far back. This honestly needs to be the primary, okay? Throw this, and let's just make it a more, even if he gets tackled immediately, let's just make this a more manageable 4th. And you can see 84 is like, what the heck? Why wouldn't you just throw it to me? Instead, you basically just run it out of bounds, and now you're in a really tough spot. So the hardest thing to discuss with the Travis Hunter breakout is that this game was indeed a blowout, where defensive schemes do change mightily. And, of course, how you want to use Travis Hunter changes as well. You're going to just absolutely want him to play offense because, well, you need to score points to get back into the game. So, you do have to factor that in, but it was nice to see him finally break out. Boom. Trevor throws a ball right on the money, and Travis is able to score. So this will go down as one of the weirdest box-scored games I can remember, where you get blown out like this and you have no turnovers. Fumbles, interceptions, anything like that. And, the Rams only had 271 total yards. So this was just one of the weirdest blowouts you can remember. But still, the Jaguars did not play well. The run game, 2nd and Mobile here. And my goodness gracious, what a freaking dart right here from Trevor Lawrence. The opposite hash, and this Jaguar offensive line, they heard my criticisms last week. They step up and give Trevor enough time to make this play. Good chip on Max Crosby to the top. And obviously, boom, Trevor, you nasty animal. So we get to this 3rd and 6. And this was something that Jackson Dart did a lot of. You could see our Jackson Dart breakdown for yourself, where you just trust that one of your bigger slot targets can box out a linebacker, and that's what Parker Washington does here. So we've seen some low Trevor Lawrence moments, but goodness gracious, this is apple bottom jeans, boot with the fur level bad. What the heck are we doing here, Trevor? It is 2nd and goal on the doorsteps of the Las Vegas Raiders goal line. Trevor stops. What are you seeing here? What are you doing? Do you really think this is getting fit through all these different players to De'Ami Brown? De'Ami Brown's like, hey, there's no way he's actually throwing this. But he actually threw it, and it gets picked off. I mean, I'm speechless. Man, one of the biggest throws of the game from Sir Trevor Lawrence. First thing I like about this is because we're trying to get this football vertically down the field, and a sack absolutely ends this half. We have a really heavy protection call. You're in 12 personnel, so you're getting chips on these ends, and then, of course, you have an extra running back here. So this starts off as a two-man route with some leaks attached to it, and it's protected really well. And this allows Trevor to find Parker Washington down the field. Okay, really, really, really good stuff, and an even better catch right there by Parker. So you got to hurry up, get down there, and spike the football. The Jaguars were able to do so, and a lot of you knew or just already know what happened next. Okay, let's go to this 3rd and 6. I try to limit my all 22 usage as much as I can. There's a lot of different reasons as to why, but on this throw, if you guys want to know why I am so critical of Trevor Lawrence, it's because of things like this. Now, this is very hard, okay? So you have BTJ motioning here, and we have a somewhat trips tighter formation than what we initially had with him lined up over here. And basically, you're more than likely reading to this side of the field. And just judging by where everybody is pre-snap, we are going to work into this space. Okay, there's a corner over here. There's another zone defender over here. Devin White is really pinned in on this hash, but Trevor just can't get through this quick enough. It's hard for me to know the full progressions here, but I'm guessing this goes boom and then to boom. Right at this backer, sits right here. We just want to hit Parker right here. If this backer, Devin White, who ironically is also from LSU, flows right there, we have got to get this football into BTJ. Now, in Trevor Lawrence's defense on this play, I can also understand him just subjectively being hesitant with BTJ, who has had alligator arms in this portion of the field throughout this season. So you still do have to just rip that to Brian Thomas Jr. Instead, you end up, trying to run for it. You can't do it, and you have to settle. Okay, this is a big, big, big deal, big talking point throughout the NFL, which is, should teams truly load the box defensively to stop the run? This box is abso-freaking-lutely jam-packed. You have 5 defenders here, and then you have all your backers really close to the line of scrimmage. So look at all this space for you to work with. You show a run action with a puller, so you're thinking that this is some variation of a counter G wide to the right. Instead, it's a heavy play action, and I want you to see how hard these Las Vegas Raider defenders are biting on this play action. Boom. They're at the line of scrimmage. I doubt that's what you really want to do. And look, now you have to bail. I mean, I don't know what's happening. And those are some of my LSU Tigers right there. Boom. Easy, easy, easy pitch and catch. Some of that is coaching, though, right? You got to do what you're coached up to do. I just never want my backers that close to the line of scrimmage. Definitely one of the better play calls of the day from Liam, because Trevor, obviously on a 3rd and medium a minute ago, wasn't able to get the job done. So why not run versus a very pass-happy look? And guess what? You're able to run a little slip or just a little handoff right here to Bashal Tutin, and he has a wide open hole to run through. In fact, that's not even Bashal Tutin. That's the Syracuse Orangeman with the carry right there. Liam Coen, you nasty, nasty, nasty individual. All right? You fake as if you're just running this here, but instead it's a little option, okay? So Trevor tries to get this football to Etienne as fast as he possibly could, but in this spot, if this was truly an option, it might be coached to just do this, right? Take a few steps and let's get this to Etienne quickly. But honestly, the way you're supposed to run the option, and Trevor Lawrence isn't an option quarterback. I'm not going to call him freaking Tommy Frazier. We want to attack this defensive end and really make him have to choose, right? Because if he has to choose and he runs out here on Etienne, Trevor's probably running and it's one-on-one to the end zone for a touchdown. But he elects to just push it out to Etienne as fast as he possibly could. Safety flies in, and Etienne takes the brunt of it. Boom. Really good finish right there from the former first-round pick. And then this has just been the case all year with the Raiders. Pass rush lane integrity is compromised. Okay, you run a QB draw, and you just take these yards, right? You get Trevor downhill, and he is just scoring pretty much every time with that much green grass to work with. Okay, good move right here by T-Law. 3rd and 11, and honestly, I do think BTJ is about to turn this bad boy on. I mean, it's just basically been a sophomore slump season, but there's just not many guys in the NFL that are doing what he does here. Okay, so Trevor has a really clean pocket. The protection is really good yet again. And look at this. Boom. Not only catches it, is able to cut back on 27 and then cut back on the safety. And guess what? He's off to the races. But then he cuts back again. Okay? God, this is just a ridiculous good play from a ridiculously talented player. And obviously you're worried about the injury of BTJ at this point, but wow, what a big game. All righty, so the Raiders take the lead. Brock Bowers decided to really go ham in his first game back. And, man, the Raiders make a huge mistake here. This is very conservative, right? Let's just work the checkdowns. You have a big-legged kicker, so you just hit this to Etienne. And guess what? With Cam Little, you're basically in field goal range now. But, man, really, really, really good stuff. And a great finish right here by Etienne. And this Raiders defense, as you can see, not the most fundamentally sound unit. And, wow, what a big play this was right here. 2nd and 7, you're running mesh. And this is a really good read right here by Trevor Lawrence. Okay, and normally in a 2-minute drill, you're not going to see a whole lot of mesh. I could explain why, but since Trevor made such a good throw, 13, who's very unheralded, was able to make a few guys miss and then get out of bounds. Okay, really, really, really good stuff right here. This 3rd and 5, and man, this is just a really bad misfire to Trammell. He's not open, but this throw could have been better to give him a shot. You can also make a case he should work Tim Jones to the left on a deep comebacker. But, man, this is just not even close. And Trevor, likes to fight another. So, what do we make of Trevor Lawrence in this game? Well, the Raiders are bottom 5 to about bottom 8 in pretty much every defensive category. But for Trevor to go out here and win this game with no Travis Hunter and no BTJ at the later portions of this game, it's still impressive, right? First, and it's amazing what a trade can do to a player. So no BTJ, obviously, and then also no Travis Hunter. So you bring in Jacoby Myers, and Parker Washington will say, look, Jacoby's not getting my snaps. I'm going to come in here and show you all how to really play. First off, if I'm Trevor, I'm not really ever throwing this football. This is really dangerous into heavy, heavy, heavy coverage. But guess what? It was good enough. A back shoulder ball and an amazing catch from Parker. 3rd and Jupiter. And I'm not talking about who sings that song? Train. Yeah. Drops the Jupiter. Or whatever the hell it is. Really good pass protection, really soft coverage, and this is a good job by Trevor understanding time and place. Let's get this football into field goal range. Boom. He gets it there, and guess what? You have a chipper. 1st and 10, 2 timeouts left, and you have a crowded line of scrimmage, and it's true man-to-man coverage. This is honestly not a bad read by Trevor Lawrence. We want to work these shallow drags if they're going to bring heavy pressure and play true man-to-man on the backside. It's just Austin Trammell going up against arguably the best corner in the NFL. And Trammell drifts a little, and that's why Derek Stingley is Derek Stingley, and we aren't Derek Stingley. Look at that play. That is just a ridiculous INT. That's not the worst throw. This is something that did happen to Derek Stingley quite a bit in college, more so after the 2019 run. Is when you have him in one of these communication situations, there can be bust. Okay, so it looks as if Derek should have picked up Jacoby Myers. They both stick with Parker Washington. This is a good job by Trevor seeing this and noticing the coverage bust Jacoby Myers is wide open. Trevor gets it out to him pretty quickly. And now, if Jacoby makes this one guy miss, he is scoring. All right? It's a really good play right here by 2 to just get enough of him to slow him down and force him to step out of bounds. If you stay in bounds, you're scoring. Just a big, big, big play by the Texans. This is really good stuff right here by Liam Coen, okay? Vertical here. The design of this is to fake this and then hit Parker behind this vertical. Trevor sees that they're sinking pretty far back. So guess what? You just throw it out here. All right, and there's no one out here on Etienne. It's bad route distribution right there by the Texans. And now Etienne has all day in a bag of chips to run this up the sideline. And he can get really spicy with it if he wants to. And guess what? He does that very thing, breaking tackles left and right to pick up a few extra yards. Man, you hate to see balls get batted down, especially with a taller quarterback in T-Law. But Parker Washington, that is just nasty work, Parker. And look what Trevor's electing to throw this football. This is more so a good play by the defensive lineman. But, man, if this gets there, this is probably hitting him in the chest. And he has a good shot of scoring, if not getting it down deeper into this portion of the field. Instead, you have to settle for a field goal. Lord Trevor Lawrence, you dirty animal. What a freaking piece of quarterbacking right here. 77 gets beat off the edge by Will Anderson. It is a deep drop, so it's not the worst offensive line play in the world, but Trevor is under heavy pressure, and he gets his football off while getting hit. And look at this ball location right here to Jacoby Myers. Bam, you nasty man. You are so nasty. 3rd and Melbourne. Someone tell me how far Melbourne is from Jacksonville. Let's do 3rd in Tallahassee. Okay? You don't have Brenton Strange, who's an absolute monster after the catch. But Trevor extends the play. And look at this. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Also, this is just stupid tackling right here by 2 who made that really good play on Jacoby Myers. I don't know why he's leaving his feet to go for this hit. Okay? So he loses all his leverage. If he just goes in like a normal human being would, he's probably making this play. And 86 after the catch, even after getting tripped up, is able to outrun 4 right here and pick up this first down. What a freaking play by Muntz. And I'm telling you, Trevor flat out was dealing up to a point. Okay, this is really good stuff. You have the receiver going up against the very controversial linebacker in 0, and Trevor just throws a really good ball right there to Trammell. Boom. Hits him, gets it to him quick enough to where the safety's not decleating him, and it's a first down. Parker Washington is just really good at tackle football. Here he is, toughest slot corner matchup you can have, Derek Stingley Jr., okay? So Trevor does a good job seeing that this is where he wants to work. And then the protection is 5-on-5. The protection is really good. And Parker is very patient with this route. Boom. Cuts to the inside. Has Stingley beat right here. And guess what? Easy pitch and catch right here. Boom. Nasty work right there by T-Law and Parker. One of the best kick-out blocks you will see. Look at 86. My guy Mint in flies upfield. We have really good down blocks right here. And look at this. Boom. Okay, nasty work. Okay, now, finish him off. Really good stuff. Now, let's go to the second portion of this play. And it's by 13 Jones. All right, so Jones gets something that I like to call a 2-for-1. Right, so Texans, they love to play a lot of man coverage. If you know that the man coverage defender is going to trail you, you take on a safety and let that corner trail you and then make the corner have to make the tackle in the hole right here. Okay? So now you have Derek Stingley, who's not the most physical, willing tackler in the world. He misses that. Okay? So now Etienne's going to take care of business. Good job by 13, and it's a touchdown. Now we get to the most Trevor two-point conversion play ever. Okay, you see the ridiculous athleticism on display here. Okay? It's kind of hard for me to see what Jacksonville is trying to do. If this is some kind of mesh variation, um, are these supposed to be shallow drags? I don't know. This route distribution is just very strange. So I can understand Trevor. You could see two guys just basically run into each other. So this is a mess. This is an absolute mess. There's also a hold right here. I mean, this is probably the most blatant hold in the history of holds. I don't think this actually got flagged, believe it or not. So you've got to turn in your official badge if you don't call that. So Trevor resets, and the holding did allow him to reset. Obviously, the best option would have been Etienne here, but these receivers were so off kilter that he just throws this away and doesn't even give anyone a chance on a 2-point conversion play. That was probably the most Jaguar play of all Jaguar plays. It was actually the ball boy. He makes a really good catch. Look at him. He's like, yeah, thanks, Trev. All right, so we get to the fourth quarter when SHI, started hitting the fan. You have Danielle Hunter coming around on a twist stunt, and you whiff it, and now there's a lot of A-gap pressure, and you're never getting away from Danielle Hunter on this play. So you take a sack, you just want to eat it, especially with an 11-point lead. Ugh. And then, dude, look at this. Look at this helmet to turf action right here. Boom. Oh. Oh. Let's go to this feisty 3rd and 4. This time you chip to help out with Danielle Hunter, and it looks like you are trying to run mesh. Okay, this looks kind of like the 2-point conversion play you saw a minute ago, and this just isn't really all that well executed. Okay, everything's just guarded pretty easy. Your goal is to create traffic so Parker could get open on the drag here, and it gets deflected. Would that have been caught? I don't know, but it got deflected at the line of scrimmage. Nasty. Okay, next thing you know, you are down 30-29, and you have a chance to go drive down the field and win the game. You have pretty decent field position here to start off, and, well, we start off with a sack. Okay, Danielle Hunter beats the left tackle off the edge, and I just don't know where Trevor is supposed to go with this other than quickly to the check down. You actually get very lucky that this does not get stripped, okay? You can see he's actually trying to work this vertical here to Tim Patrick or to Parker Washington. Man, that might actually get done if you have better protection, but Danielle Hunter is a Pro Bowler for a good reason. Now it's 2nd and Green Cove, and this time that's a really nasty chip right here from Bashal Tootin. Look at this. Boom. Wow. Okay, so you help out with your left tackle. Looks like they're running a twist anyway, and then the defensive linemen get out of their pass rush lanes, and Trevor is off running. Okay, really, really, really good stuff by Trevor. I understand there's no timeouts left. Was there someone open down the field? I don't think so. And now if you're Trevor, the big goal here is to get out of bounds. The downs aren't as important, but he was able to also pick up the first down and then get out of bounds. All right, football is a game of 50-50 calls. You get a really, really, really good piece of quarterbacking here from T-Law. He rolls out to the right side, and guess what? He finds Parker Washington. So, look, we can get into the holding debate, what's holding and what's not holding. Obviously this loss is mostly on the defense. Rollouts do have a tendency to get holding calls because, well, guys are rolling out. And if you're rolling out, you're holding, you got your block fastened, and it can lend to things that look like holds. But that's a really good play by Parker again. And this is field goal range. Hey, Jaguar Nation, this is where the hold was called, okay? First thing here is Edoga, the right tackle. This is a not great pass set. You could see from the get-go that his right foot has an issue planning. Now, once again, this is versus a wide 9, okay? So now his footwork is all off kilter, All right, so this isn't the best piece of offensive line play. Is that holding, though? I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. I mean, and get into how much power the white hat has when it comes to holding. Whew. It looks awkward, right? The awkward nature of the pass set makes you think that this is for sure a hold of some sort, but he disengages there, but it's thrown. And I will let you guys come to your own conclusion. Okay, there's 7 seconds left, and you have no timeouts. Obviously, Cam Little has himself a massive, massive leg. Okay, so am I just trying to hit a slant, and then you just hope you can get up and down the football right around here? I mean, it's just never working. You could see that they have pretty much everything walled off here to the left. Okay, so now you're in a difficult spot because all your guys are trying to run outs here, and well, you're not getting out. All right. I think if you're Trevor in this spot, you just have to sail this and hope it goes out of bounds and you can run another play. Or you could just try an 80-plus yard field goal. Instead, it's a strip sack, and that's the game. Okay. Trevor Lawrence did not lose this game. I think anyone with a brain could tell you that. The defense of the Jaguars, allowing Davis Mills to come back, lost you the game. But there are still things that you see, and you're like, The game of the season from the teal and black, baby. Look at this throw right here by Trevor Lawrence. A couple of pumps. You could get fined for that. Ask Rico Dowdle. He finds Austin Trammell, though, eventually. What a creative throw here on 3rd and 6 to make this work. All right, part of why they bring in Jakobi Meyers is, well, he doesn't actually drop the football, and he knows how to get open. This is obviously the most common concept in all of football, which is a curl flat combination. All right, you have the flat right here. Your job is to read this overhang. If he goes to the flat, we throw the curl. It's very simple stuff, and Jakobi Meyers gets a simple catch. It's what he's done his entire career. Okay, and he's able to fall forward for a first down. Alrighty, we get to this 4th and 3, and this was not Trevor's best work. Sometimes you have to tip your hat to the defense playing really, really, really good coverage, and guess what? He does have Parker Washington on this quick out. Boom. Get it out. Throw it now. You're looking right at him. First down. Okay, but you do worry about this corner really screaming down and picking this off. It would need to have been thrown with perfect precision to make sure it's not picked off. This whole shot looks open. There is a safety over the top of it. In theory, if you were really ripping this, yeah, I mean, you could fit this in, but the ball just needs to go to Parker. Another thing about this from Parker's vantage point is that this route does get a little drifty, right? He's moving forward instead of flat. I understand on 4th and 3 you can get like that, but it's not the best work from him. Either way, it looks as if this contain is broken to either side, and Trevor could really extend this if he wanted to. Instead, he throws a wobbler into heavy coverage, and it's incomplete. Very easily could have been picked as well. This is such a good piece of offensive coordinator play right here from Liam Coen, all right? There's so many little things I love about this first down play call. All right, so they drive down, score a field goal, and on first down, you have a heavy play action fake mixed with a run action. Okay, so he's pulling around to really sell that this could be a play action shot. You also have deep routes being run from it, right? 1st and 10 is a good down to really try and get vertical. Then, obviously, with some pressure here, you have a tight end leak. After he initially chips, it's really hard for the defense to pick all of that up. And Trevor goes with the easy option right here to keep the chains moving. Okay, really, really, really good stuff right there from Liam, and an easy completion for. Once again, analytically, Liam Coen is very well versed. Okay, it's 2nd and 1, and even versus this very soft quarters look, we want to analytically try to throw the football because you can just go for it on 3rd or 4th and short. Okay, so this turns from quarters into cover 3, it's still basically man-to-man on this side. And Trevor sees that there is cushion, and even with a leverage disadvantage, he's throwing this pretty quickly to Parker Washington. That's really good quarterback play, really good protection, all of it just very elite stuff, and you're able to pick up a first. Good Bashal Tootin game. And you take a look, once again, very, very, very soft quarters, which is a little shocking considering the Jaguars don't have their dudes into the game, right? Obviously, no Travis Hunter, no BTJ. Very soft coverage. You have to be able to run on it. And guess what? You're able to run on it. Good stuff right there from Tootin to fall forward and pick up all these extra yards. All right, so you will hear play callers talk about sequencing quite a bit. And you're about to see a well-sequenced set of runs here for Bashal Tootin. First off, this is a good job by the play side guard to get around and seal this defensive tackle to the inside. Perfect. Same thing here with the play side tackle, Walker Little, who has been heavily criticized on this channel. So everybody's doing a good job sealing their guys to the inside. Now we just need to get to the second level and get to these backers. You're able to do just that. And now Bashal Tootin, who is absolutely, positively, ridiculously athletic, is really able to get to the edge here and pick up a really nice gain. All right, so now you bring a tight end over here. You also bring in an extra offensive lineman, and you just saw outside zone here to the left. This is also a really good job by the Jaguars. You could see that there's only a second left on the play clock. That's going to happen. Once again, we're to the goal line, which is a longer distance for all these guys to run in and out. The sideline cuts off at around the 30, where players can stand. So it takes a while to bring in this heavier personnel. And then you also have all these motions. And on the play before this, you had even, right? You had a receiver and a tight end, receiver and a tight end. This time we have an extra offensive lineman, a tight end, and we're motioning Parker Washington to the left. And we're zone blocking our offensive line basically again to the left. And here's the thing. You can really see it here of how this play can really affect a defense, okay? Once again, the gap here is right here. There's no one accounting for this opposite side B gap, right? Because they're all thinking that it's going to be a run to the left. So this guy's here, this guy's here, this guy here, this guy here, this guy here. And you act like, once again, it is a zone blocking play to the left, okay? But it's actually just a wraparound here to the right. So you get a little chip right here on that nose, and then you get a cut to the second level. Man, this is just really, really, really good. And then you have Khalil Mack, all-pro right here. Boom. All right? You got to, respect the Trevor Lawrence boot. And then you have this tight end wrap it around here to seal that edge player. And now it's one-on-one between Tootin and Derwin James. And guess what? He takes care of business with a full head of steam. Really good work. Alrighty, we have another negative Trevor play here. And you have to be careful when these corners are outside leverage, right? We saw the throw a little bit earlier. And Dante Jackson has played a lot of football all the way back with the Louisiana State University Tigers. He's basically just all over this, and he's able to pick it off. Ugh. Now, guess what the Jaguars like to do? They run the same play, but they're doing it to the left. And guess what? It works again. Once again, these DTs for the Chargers were just eaten alive. It's always been a minor position of weakness to a major position of weakness. And then we get to here. Where it gets really interesting is you get a huge 2-for-1 right here, where this corner is in man coverage and the receiver is blocking the safety. So this receiver here is essentially blocking two guys. And if Tootin does not get tripped up here, this is going probably for a touchdown because these two guys ran into each other. God, if you could have only have kept your footing here. Ugh. Man, what a freaking laser beam right here from Trevor Lawrence. Look at when he's actually ripping this football. I almost said to number 17, Evan Ingram. Oh, what a throw. What a catch. You guys let me know who that is. I'm pretty sure it's Tim Patrick. Let's break down another Jags touchdown. You have a motion that has Etienne taking the snap. You're running counter GY to the left side. Okay. The next wrinkle in this play is that you actually stop and throw it to T-Law here in the flat. But anyway, really good, tough running right here by Etienne. You get a missed tackle, and eventually he finds his way into the end zone. Guess what? You just keep running the same thing. If they have no answer for it, guess what? Just keep running it. All right? This Chargers defense likes to be aggressive. This is a heavy misdirection play, but even with it being misdirection, the physicality of getting movement into these DTs. So look at this. All right, this DT is basically in the second level defender's lap, and Tootin, who has such ridiculous change of direction skills, is able to find the open space and really turn this in to something big. Okay, good stuff right there from number 33. So arguably the biggest throw from this game. It's 3rd and 12, and the Chargers are getting very exotic. He's backing out, and you have a second-level blitzer coming all the way from Green Cove. And look at this, dude. Look at this protection. It's really good. Trevor is able to play quickly and hit the in-breaker. Boom. Okay? Good stuff. And Jakobi Meyers is off and running. Love to see it. 2nd and 6, and man, it's amazing how soft this Chargers defense will play, and also how static they are, right? This is just pretty basic stuff across the way right here, and Trevor's able to hit this in-breaker to number 17, Tim Patrick. Wow, baby. Wow. Alrighty, and then we get to this 1st and goal, and why not? QB run game. Bring it out in the red zone because, man, this touchdown really hurts you. Good stuff. I'm still so shocked at how static this Chargers defense was pre-snap. I honestly think they made things pretty easy on T-Law. Easy pitch and catch right there to Jakobi Meyers. Okay, so this time they show a crowded line of scrimmage, and then once again they get back into zone. And honestly, this is just good stuff by Trevor. Read this defender. You could see that this angle is starting to open up. And look at when Trevor is actually ripping that bad boy. Y'all, you cannot play quarterback better than he did in this game. I mean, it's nearly impossible. So when you look at Trevor's stat line from this game, it really wasn't anything incredible. But you saw what you saw, right? It was a lot better. And this time, you know, you had the trips bunch formation with the motion. You could see that they're having trouble sorting out whose man is who. And guess what? Trevor sees it, plays really quickly here to Jakobi Meyers, and it's an easy pitch and catch. This is probably the biggest takeaway from this game, is that Jakobi Meyers is a really good addition. He's a veteran. He's not necessarily known for his blocking, but he has a big block right here to really spring Etienne. That's some good running by Etienne, getting skinny in the hole, and now it's a foot race. Some bad run fills there from Arizona. By the way, number 21 should be retired by the Cardinals. That's just a little personal pet peeve of mine. So good job by Parker at the end of this to help Etienne gain even more yards. And, man, look at the Jaguars freaking cook. My goodness gracious, Trevor Lawrence. This is some really good quarterbacking right here. Throws the football out into the flats, and because he leads Etienne so well, you can see 27 takes the worst angle imaginable here. This is what you normally expect FCS players to do, not NFL guys. He falls on his own footing, and now Trevor could just find his way into the end zone. Well, Trevor's his brother and his quarterback, but he scores. Alrighty, 3rd and 6. You have a crowded line of scrimmage. He backs out. And you actually do account for everybody when it comes to protection. It's really good, right? 85's job right here is to turn this guy as wide as he possibly can and then become the check down here for if anything is not open on this side. The problem here is Trevor's eyes are just really locked in. This ball could be completed right now to Jakobi. Boom. Okay? Rip that bad boy right there. Instead, Trevor locks in, and he's really late getting that football out to Jakobi, and he has to take a really nasty sack that turns into a pick 6. So really bad stuff. Yeah, you know, we could get into how you want to block that edge blitzer, but the rookie Walter Nolan's able to turn this into the end. One of Trevor's better plays on the day, he ends up eating this instead of throwing it, and he finds a way to convert with his legs. This is really, really, really good pass pro right here by Etienne, who had himself a phenomenal game. Calais Campbell gets put on the ground. Once again, if he jumps up into the air, into the passing lane, we want to penalize him for, number one, showing his rib cage. And actually, no, he wasn't even getting jumped. He was just getting hit really hard right there. It's nasty work right there. And Trevor is being able to convert this with his legs. Does a good job switching the football into his other hand. And guess what? Trevor, as we all know, can run. It's not what he's known for, but it is something that is in his 3rd and 6. And this is what having an elite offensive coordinator can do for your offense. So you've already shown this quick throw to Etienne out into the flats, right? So now you fake it, and then you just run a QB draw. And once again, dude, it's been very feast or famine. 72, Walker Little, he's had plays where he's been put on his rear end by linebackers, and then he has plays like this where he is just absolutely mauling human beings. That is a really, really, really good piece of blocking, and Trevor is able to get vertical to pick up this easy first down. 3rd and 8, and this is honestly one of the hardest defenses to scheme against when they consistently crowd the line of scrimmage and you don't know who's blitzing. And oftentimes the Cardinals do this and one or two guys are actually dropping. Okay, this time they bring Budda Baker off the edge, and the running back, Allen, right here, picks up the A-gap and leaves Budda Baker unblocked, which is what you want. Right? If there's someone that's going to be unblocked, we want it to be somebody flying off the edge instead of through the interior gaps. The problem is you did have enough hats to block it, so it could have been sorted out a little bit better. So now Trevor is hot, and the problem with this is that there really aren't any hot routes for Trevor to throw to, which is just a route that's quicker and easier to get to. It's oftentimes of a shorter distance, and Trevor really can't do anything because all these routes being run are deeper routes, and he just has to eat this sack, okay? So not bad quarterbacking really there at all, unless he could have done a better job of setting the protection and the hots. Once again, they crowd the line of scrimmage, and 10 is left unblocked. Just judging by how this looks, Allen probably should have been here to pick up 10, but he's not there. And there really is no answer for this if you're Trevor. So you just basically just have to eat this sack. Okay, he does a good job avoiding the sack, but so Trevor, for weeks at a time, has not had Brenton Strange, BTJ, now obviously Travis Hunter. So now Parker Washington has to step up after the trade of Jakobi Meyers, and he's done that very thing. Good throw by Trevor, waiting for Parker to get into that window. Boom, good throw, good catch. Nasty, nasty work by this Jaguar. Route concept that has worked really well for the Jaguars, and that started in the preseason, is a tight end pivot. So a pivot is when you go out and back in. That pairs well with these two out-breaking routes. So you fake like you're running it out, and then boom. You now have an over-the-middle option, and it's timed well if you go progressions from left to right. That's really, really, really good offense. And Munt is able to pick up the first down. Yeah, so Little had a good game. He really, really, really did. And you could see him at left tackle dominating his assignment. He did have help with a chip, but you could see here Trevor is able to roll out to the left side, and he has the option. He could hit Munt right there in the flat. He can also just take off and run, but he's able to find an open receiver down the field. And Trevor throwing on the run has mostly been good throughout his career. Boom. Good stuff. Okay, so you get a little unlucky on this red zone INT. All right, so normally with an RPO, you are reading this safety. So if this safety flies in, you're running a glance right here. But what the Jaguars elect to do is this looks to be a play-action fake the entire way, and the glance is actually coming from this direction. You can see the safety flies into the box to respect Etienne, and now you have this space to work with, and you can see Jakobi Meyers has this guy burned. The problem is Calais Campbell sees it and is able to stick his hands up, deflected, and that allows 21 to undercut it. So you get unlucky. It's a good play by a veteran, and there you go. 3rd and 6, and this is some really nasty work from both the offense and the defense. Okay, so we've seen throughout this game the Cardinals crowd the line of scrimmage, and almost every time 2 or 3 guys back out. This time the Cardinals don't crowd the line of scrimmage, and they bring everyone. It's straight cover 0, and Trevor does a ridiculous job picking this up. Okay, so I don't know the protection calls, but in a perfect world, you would want 72 blocking down on this B gap player and have the outside guy coming free. You would want these interior gaps blocked as well, but you could see that the protection was slid to the left here to the play side, and the right side A gap was left deoccupied. So we do not want that, and the worst case scenario here happens for the Jaguars. You have unblocked A gap pressure, and you also have unblocked B gap pressure. So what Trevor does here is really, really, really smart. Once he sees that everybody is coming, or he feels that everybody's coming, what you actually want to do is drift backwards. Okay, so Trevor sees that it is indeed cover 0, and what you want to do is drift back and give your receiver as much time as he possibly can to win his one-on-one matchup, and just a simple throw up into the air is normally a pretty good option, right? So that's exactly what he does. He throws it up into Jakobi Meyers' way, and he's able to make a nice play on it. It's just elite quarterbacking. The downside of this defense is you're making a lot of protection checks. And you can see with 1 second left to go on the play clock, the Jaguars are not ready. They've already blown 2 timeouts, which is some really bad game management from Liam and Trevor and the team. And you get lucky that this is not a delay of game penalty. And it should have been, okay? Just barely. Now, this time, they back out. They don't actually bring anyone. The problem here for Trevor is this in-breaker to Jakobi Meyers looks open, right? It looks like this DB is running with the out, but it's not open. 27 has his eyes on Trevor the entire time, and he's able to pick this football off, and it's no bueno, okay? Ugh. God bless. You want to see how good Parker Washington has been? This is not an easy catch by any stretch of the imagination. It really, really, really isn't. He is pretty much draped over. Trevor puts it right on the money. He catches it while also taking a massive blow. So take a look at this guy's face at Parker Washington making plays. Let's go to his 3rd and Ortega here. And when it is one of these and long spots, you want to avoid snapping with 1 second left to go, right? Sometimes you can overthink it with your protections and all of that. And Trevor throws another pick. When it's these 3rd and longs, I want to include something shorter, a shallow drag, a check down of some sort. Not everything just being stops right at the sticks. That's what the defense wants you to do. It still doesn't excuse throwing yet another pick. Ugh. Nasty work. Nasty, nasty, nasty work. 1st and 10, basically the first play of this drive. God, this is a good call by Liam. You're thinking that, hey, they're going to run. We're throwing picks, but instead we're slipping our tight end here to the right side, and he's wide open. 27 really needs to take a look at which type of cleats he's wearing. I mean, he fell a lot in this game. Davis, Gatlin, whatever it is. And Brenton Strange, who is ridiculously athletic, as many of you know, has a lot of Phoenix real estate to run through there. Trevor just starts to cook with the 5:55 left to go. This time they're in what looks to be quarters, and they invert it, okay? So this guy comes out. It gets very, very, very different, and Trevor is unfazed by it, okay? He's still reading this guy. If he flies over here or down, we're throwing the stop right here to Jakobi. Man, look at that throw. Boom. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Jacoby's able to cut to the outside and pick up some extra yards as well. Nice work. And rarely do you see routes that are spaced like this deep into the progression, okay? But Trevor eventually does find Brenton Strange over the middle, and it's a good throw and a good catch. And then we get back to looking at Parker Washington doing Parker Washington things. Now, this breakout really isn't a shock. Obviously, outside of maybe Shimray DK of the Titans, Parker Washington's been the best punt returner in the NFL. But man, this is just really, really, really good stuff by Trevor, stepping up into the pocket and trusting Parker to make a difficult catch with the DB's back turned to him. Look at that throw. Wow, wow, wow. Let's go to the 3rd and 4 in overtime. And, well, I'm going to let you guys tell me what you think of this play. He's open. Tim Patrick's open. And Trevor's thinking, hey, Tim's going to look and see that he's open right past the sticks and turn to me. But instead, Tim Patrick continues to run, and the ball is thrown right behind his noggin. Oh, boy. Oh. And one thing that I really liked about this Jaguars game is if you really picked apart these plays, you saw a lot of players for the Titans front getting thrown on the ground. You also saw Jeffrey Simmons just dominating this game, but it wasn't enough because Trevor Lawrence decided to ball out of control. He hits another deep in-breaker, this time to Jakobi Meyers, and guess what? You have yourself a freaking offense right here. 7-11, always open to number 3. Are you kidding me? Look at Jacoby go, baby. He's like, look, I am on a winning team, and it feels good. Get Jacoby on the touchdown here on 3rd and goal. And if you're a college football fan, if this play looks familiar, it's what decided the Iron Bowl. On 4th and 2, they ran the same play here, and Jacoby is able to. So because the Titans are a losing franchise, you get a turnover here, and now Trevor is able to basically cook, okay? So once again, Jeffrey Simmons curling around right here, creating a lot of havoc on that little twist loopy over the middle. And Trevor Lawrence, 2 hands on the football, is able to step up and find a receiver right there. Boom! Shakalaka! Look at that, Trevor. To Mr. I almost said Evan Ingram again. So this is what the best OCs do. They get into heavier personnel. So you can see here that the Jaguars are in 13 personnel, 1 running back and 3 tight ends. And what they like to do is get vertical out of heavier personnel. So now why do you do that? Well, if you're coming out heavier, you got to bring out more linebackers and bring guys closer to the line of scrimmage to defend against the Jaguars' good rushing attack. So what do? You throw it vertically. And that's what you're doing with your 3 tight ends and your only receiver. You're getting vertical, okay? And this time you do get Jeffrey Simmons down to the ground. This Jaguars offensive line, I'm telling you, boy, Trevor had all day to throw. Jeffrey Simmons almost batted that down, too. The dude's a freak. And the Jaguars are just a better offense when Brenton Strange is involved. And this is just some really, really, really good stuff, okay? Normally, you want your routes to be spaced a little bit better, but right here, you have a 2-on-2, and guess what? You're running it out, and you're running a little skinny post behind it, and that is just so hard to guard as a DB. Once again, corner's got to pick him up, safety's late getting over, and boom, really good stuff. Once again, the Jaguars, there was a really nice throw by Trevor before this, I believe, on a deep dig. And this is something Jacksonville does a really good job of. They're getting vertical. This Titans defense had some issues pre-snap here. And, yeah, they're scooting back because they've gotten beat over the top a few times. Now that opens up your leaking tight end underneath. So this is an easy read for Trevor. All those DBs are back. Let me get it to Brenton Strange. And there's extra value in throwing the football to Strange underneath because, as you've seen throughout the year, he has been really good at running after the catch, okay? So he's able to get vertical. He could break tackles with the best of them, and he does the typical tight end hurdle right there to fall forward for a first down. You want to know why bad teams stay bad and bad coaches stay bad? Well, it's because of stuff like this. God, if you're the Titans, why are you not calling a timeout here? That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, if you call a timeout, you can fix the problem of you allowing a simple check down versus a big-legged kicker. Okay, you want them to throw the football deep vertically because it could be incomplete and then they're out of field goal range here. The last thing I want to do is give up anything short where you could throw it, pick up the yards needed to get into an extended field goal range, and then kick the field goal after calling a quick timeout. It's a good job by Strange just getting down on the ground as quickly as he can, and now You're able to call a timeout with 1 second left, and you nail the field. So, you bunch of sickos, midway through this film study, and you already haven't hit the subscribe button, do it now. Let's go. All right, so this is a good example about why winning in the NFL is so hard. So, you look at the Cleveland Browns, they have the best defensive end in the country in Myles Garrett. And you can make a case that Jeffrey Simmons is the best defensive tackle in the NFL, but both of them are on bad teams, right? This is a ridiculous play right here by Jeffrey Simmons. He's going up against a true double, and he's able to squeeze through it with a nice little rip move, and there is a lot of pressure right up the gut. There's nothing Trevor could really do about this, okay? If you have a lead, there's no need to throw in the face of that, and you take a nasty sack. Ugh. I don't like saying that there should be a play in every offense's playbook, right? There's so many different ways to skin a cat. But split zones where you have a tight end or a wide receiver running behind the formation after a heavy play action fake, especially if you're an outside running team, you've got to have this in the playbook, okay? So you take it back. Once again, Jeffrey Simmons put somebody on their ass there. But still, you get an easy completion right here to Jakobi Meyers, and now he has all the room in the world to run for this first down. And basically what we talked about earlier, the Jaguars are going to do it again here, okay? Heavier formation, heavy play action fake, and we're trying to get vertical, okay? So where it gets really nasty is that you just showed split zone to the left. Now you're showing it here to the right, except there is a vertical being run. Then there's this route being run, and then you have this guy running into the flat. So this is relatively simple for Trevor Lawrence. This vertical route is going to hold the deeper safety corner types. This should be the route that should be open. I don't remember this play. I'm guessing that's where he's going to go with it. And yes, that is exactly what he does. Boom. Easy vertical, wide open, first down. And who is number 80? Morris. There you go. Mirrors. Shout out Justin Timberlake. So Trevor had a nice scramble for a first down, and the Jaguars continue to be a really good short yardage rushing team, okay? And Bashal Tutin is the benefactor here. Now, this ends up being a really good run right here by Tutin because you have an unblocked linebacker here. It's just the blocking on this side was so good. It gave Tutin just a little bit of room to squirt through and actually score this tutty. 3rd and 5, and once again, it's Jeffrey Simmons again. That probably should be offsides. This gets timed really well. No, it's timed to perfection. And you get a one-on-one with this late blitzer. There's some good design right here by Tennessee because if we blitz this guy versus a 5-man protection here, that's going to guarantee Simmons one-on-one versus the center. And watch what happens here. It gets ugly. It gets very ugly. Okay? First off, Simmons on this rip move is actually getting stuffed pretty well, but he just says, look, I'm tired of this guy. I'm just going to throw him out the club. And there you go. And there's nothing Trevor could really do about that. He gets hit while he's being thrown. That probably would have been a first down, but that's why Jeffrey Simmons is a freak. And then you get this really nice piece of running. You have the tight end out of 12 personnel. One thing about this play in particular, look at how tight these splits are between the offensive linemen here. This is a big tight end as well. And you have this tight end come around, kick out the edge, and then you're pulling around 76. The good thing about having these splits so tight is that it makes these pulls a shorter distance for the offensive linemen, and this is a good job by 76 coming around here and just kicking all of this out. Okay, push that tight end, boom, and all Etienne has to do is beat a linebacker and he's able to get the job done. So one more angle on these splits. Maybe they aren't too tight. I mean, obviously this is tight, so this isn't too out of the ordinary now that I've looked at it again. It's still really good stuff. 65 comes around, 71. Man, this is just really well done. Like, you literally can't really do it that much better, and you get the guy to the ground for an extra pancake with syrup. Really good quarterbacking by Trevor after the game was tied up. Run a vertical here. Both the corner and the safety are occupied by the vertical. There's a blitzer. Trevor sees it. And even with that blitzer, this is where you should throw the football. And it's easy pitch and catch, analytically sound. Let's throw on first down football. And Brenton Strange makes everybody miss. He is so freaking good after the catch. Man, what a run. So this isn't anything extraordinary, but it's still very good quarterbacking right here from Trevor Lawrence. Okay, so you have Etienne go out into the flat. You have the tight end wide receiver type. I can't really see from here running the vertical. And now you get a one-on-one basically with Jacoby Myers versus a linebacker. Obviously, in a perfect world, the corner would pass off the vertical to the safety and the corner pick up Jacoby Myers. But the point of this is to show you that Trevor throws this football perfectly, right? This is really good timing, and he's able to get this football up and down and get this football to Jacoby Myers for an easy touchdown. Boom! You'll see here from this angle, once again, it's not anything spectacular. Once you see this corner run with the receiver, you know this space is deoccupied, and there you go. Really, really, really good stuff right there by Trevor. Okay, so let's get to this 3rd and 8, and the Indianapolis Colts do bring a blitz, and they're trying to run a quick screen. Obviously, it's wet. You can see a lot of people have already taken their gloves off here, and Trevor just airmails this. This throw is so difficult with the wet ball because you're trying to just get it out as quick as you possibly can, and that obviously could have gotten really spicy. So we get to here, and you could obviously build an RPO out of this touchdown run with Etienne. Okay, so you could pull this and throw this football to Jacoby Myers, and he has a lot of room to work with. But Trevor does decide to hand this football off, and this is some really good running right here by Etienne. And once again, it's 77. You saw on the touchdown run a minute ago, he was able to get the critical down block to seal 90 to the inside. It's a good job right here. 73, the captain is coming around, and he's going to pick up this safety, and it's just hat for a hat. All I got to do is make one guy miss, and it's a touchdown. It's really, really, really good stuff right here from the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, this has been a foundational route for this Jaguars offense. They get in 12 personnel, and the benefit of being in 12 personnel is you can have your tight ends, staying in block or bring them out wide. And Brenton Strange, of course, is a very versatile tight end, and this has been one of his better routes. Okay, so you act like you're running out and you whip back to the inside. Okay, a good little pivot route, and it's really difficult to guard against, right? Trevor's just been eating on this all the way back to the preseason, to be honest, and that's just a good throw and a good catch. And obviously, Trevor all season long has just been so good with his legs. Oh my goodness gracious. So you could see here with 2 timeouts left, there's a wide open pocket of space for Trevor to work with. All these routes are being run to the sticks. So now, instead of throwing a difficult ball, Trevor sees a rush lane open over the middle. He eats it, okay, and now has all this room to run. Okay, it's good, safe football. The time is on your side at this juncture, and you have a lot of space to cut back and make something happen. So we'll take that all day, every day right there. One thing the Jaguars did in this game, it was the opposite. Remember earlier this year versus the Seahawks, you can go look at our breakdown from that game. There are so many Jaguar offensive linemen that were getting put on their rear end. This game was the opposite. And one thing that is oftentimes a death knell for defensive linemen is when you get put to the ground. So Armstead, who's a good player, put to the ground. 95 is put to the ground. And now Trevor has pretty much any rush lane he wants. He's just got to jump through it. And that's exactly what he's able to do right here through Armstead. And now he's got Tim Patrick wide open right here on the back end for an easy pitch and catch touchdown after some really good QB pocket mechanics there from Trevor. So this is by far Brian Thomas Jr.'s best route, which is a slot go or a slot fade. This was his best route at LSU, and this is an easy read for Trevor Lawrence. If you see single high, and it's pretty clear it's going to be single high with this crowded line of scrimmage, the good thing about single high slot fades is that they're quick hitters. So not only if they are bringing a blitz, which they are, let's just say one of these blitzers is able to get through, this is a quick hitting vertical play. So you're getting the best of both worlds, something thrown quick and something thrown really deep. Okay, the protection here is pristine, and obviously this is where BTJ just cooks, and this is definitely one of Trevor's best throws in his career. I mean, look at that. Boom. Okay, you just can't beat it. Obviously, his Chiefs one was probably a little bit better than that, but man, what a throw, what a catch. All right, this is one of the rare time and place throws where I am perfectly fine in this time and place for Trevor to not rip this to BTJ. Okay, you're up by 18, so a 3 possession lead right here. Okay, they have a backup quarterback in because Daniel Jones tore his ACL in this game. The only real way the Colts are getting back into this is if they are, intercepting something. There's a pick six or anything like that. So the Colts actually do something very smart here. Let's give Trevor something super exotic defensively to look at. So they had been crowding the line of scrimmage, and the defensive players that back out are actually the three interior defenders. Okay, and one of these guys is an end. So this is a really, really, really good call. Okay, what happens is these three guys back out, and it's these slot corners, the nickels, both blitzing here, and it gets picked up. Right, it gets sorted out. All right. So obviously in this spot, boom. Okay, he's looking right there. But in this, situation, there is a very exotic look. Trevor decides to be super careful in this spot, which is okay. But a throw here is getting this done. Obviously, him and BTJ over the intermediate middle as well this season. There have been some bad picks, the Bengals game from earlier this year. So I can also understand Trevor being gun shy here, but this is something in the long run that you want to fix. So instead, Trevor decides to work to the backside. This is also there to Brenton Strange. Instead, Trevor decides to eat this, two hands on the football, and he's still able to pick up this first down. And another value piece to this is obviously 29 made a bad calculation. If he runs right at Trevor, he's making this play. He backs up, and now he's too late to get Trevor before he's able to pick up the first down. Okay, so obviously in a better game environment, a closer game environment, we want Trevor to just make that throw. Takes a weird hit as well, but still, there you go. And then Trevor follows us up with this. God bless. This is just nasty, nasty, nasty work right here. So 3rd and 9, he does this spin move. Got to be careful when you're doing a spin move versus a corner or a safety. They're able to react a little bit sooner, and this ends up being a big sack. So if you're going to do this, you got to make sure you can break the contain of this guy. And now Trevor is just looking down the field to see if somebody's open, and he does this. This is absolutely, positively nasty right here from Trevor Lawrence. Boom. Hits Tim Patrick, and it's a first down. You do eventually get stopped on 4th down, but you take care of business. And we talked about this last week that the Jaguars, in their final 5 games, should go no less than 4-1. I do think they'll end up going 3-2. The Jags, the most Jag thing will be them going 2-3. But you start off 1-0 in this final 5 game stretch. You catch the Colts in a better spot. Now that Daniel Jones is hurt and they're not as hot as they were early in the season, but still you're able to get the job done. Could Trevor Lawrence have his best freaking game of his career? There is no close second. Don't come at me with the, it's the New York Jets. No, don't come at me with that. I'm not going to have it. Yeah, this was a problem when Aaron Glenn was the DC for the Lions. He would just play very, very, very aggressive man coverage. And when you crowd the line of scrimmage, you can give easy answers over the middle of the field. Trevor's just going to cook this. This is an easy read, 2-over-2 over here. And you're stacking these receivers, and a slot receiver like Jacoby Myers just times this perfect, okay? Selling like he's running the out to where this guy really has to respect it. And now he's cutting back to the inside. He has to cut around that, quasi pick right there. And that is just an easy freaking throw right there for Trevor Lawrence. And man, Jacoby Myers has been nothing but good since he's been with Jacksonville. But this is a very heavy run look. You could see basically every lineman plus the tight ends in a heavier 3-point stance, meaning they really are looking as if this is going to be a run. Jacoby Myers inserts through the C gap, so you're really thinking this could be a heavy play action or just a heavy run to the right side. Instead, we're running a deep over here to BTJ. This is a good run fake right here, and now the slot corner passes Brian Thomas Jr. over to the safety, and even with that, that's a difficult guard for any safety to keep up step for step with Brian Thomas Jr. on a deep over. And God, you just can't really play football better than that. Some really good stuff. So play action fake on a deep over with Brian Thomas Jr. Let's do it again. Okay, heavy run fake yet again. Brian's going to win a foot race if it's man-to-man and there's no safety over the middle. And this DB is going down on Strange. This is easy for Trevor to see. He's got all day to make this throw. And boom. Okay, he gets it there to Brian Thomas. Now, does he get a little lucky that this DB who peels off here is a little late on this? Sure, but we'll take it. It's third and Gator Bowl Boulevard, and Trevor Lawrence has to get all the way to the end zone here. Let's call that pure EB. And look, you don't have to score a touchdown. You can see the yard line is on the 2, and you can see Trevor is trying to throw an in-breaker here to Jacoby Myers. That's covered. Is this to Brenton Strange open? I mean, that's a tight fit, okay? Well, you can make your "that's what she said" jokes if you want to. So Trevor elects to extend this play, and once again, Trevor is still in a really tough spot. Okay, so he stops, and basically he's just having to make something happen. Now, here's a good thing if you're Trevor, if you play situational football, it's because you have a big leg kicker. Taking a big sack really isn't that big a deal. So he stops, pops, maybe try and throw this. No, he's just stepping up into the pocket. And because this is man coverage, everybody's backs are to the QB, and now Trevor is able to take off. Man, this is really good play design right here by Liam Coen, okay? Play action here to Bashal Tootin. We have a run action here to the right side to make them think it's a rollout pass to the right, and instead you're throwing this back to the left. So Trevor's first read is this. The way this normally works is this running back gets picked up by this linebacker and this defender. This time, though, both of them go to Etienne in the flats because he is such a deadly option. And look, a lot of the times, Tootin is covered. So where you're actually throwing the football is to Strange. But, man, it's just really good design. It's one of the more difficult plays in football to guard. Tootin's able to catch it and score. Obviously, in an actual or in a future game, you want to throw this and Tootin catch this to where he's able to keep his feet and run into the end zone, but it all counts the same for a tutty. All right, so it's 3rd and 4, and football is not always going to be this easy where every single time you get in a bunch, they're going to play man coverage. What I would have done if I were the Jets is swap up how I'm actually playing man, and what you could do is basically sorted out by if this guy goes out here, you pick him up. If this guy goes out here, you pick him up. And basically you're switching off these routes. Instead, the Jets are basically playing Meg, right? Where it's literally everyone staying on their man regardless. Or we get to this trips bunch, and when you're playing a lot of man coverage, it's so hard to sort this out. And you could see right here the Jets just absolutely blow this really badly. You can see Parker Washington is left unabated, so this is getting it done. Instead, Trevor decides to work the out where there's DBs stacked basically behind BTJ right there, and it's such a difficult guard. Trevor's able to get it there and pick up the first down. Okay, the timing on that could have been better, but then obviously this is just a replay of the Indianapolis throw. Jets elect to basically bring almost everyone, and now Trevor in this spot, he didn't need to spin out in this direction. So if you're going to do this and you're spinning out this way, you better make sure you're not getting sacked and you're able to break contain on this 3rd and 10. And obviously Trevor in this spot, we do just want him to throw that up because if they intercept it, it basically just becomes an arm punt. And what does Trevor do? Well, he throws an absolute seed right here to Parker Washington. One area where Trevor has been really good this season is stepping up and reading rush lanes, right? It's never really been like his biggest weakness, but he has 2 hands on the football. He's able to climb right here, and then he sees the seize part here, and now he's able to just take off and just take the yards that are given to him. And while he makes this scamper, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and there is an option for you to hit the join button, and that helps us get a few extra bucks every week as Trevor is able to pick up that first down. Let's get to the 2nd and 10, and basically this is the same thing you've been seeing, practically stacking these receivers. Now, once again, they're not as close here, but Etienne, who we all know is really good out of the backfield, you could see that BTJ runs to the inside. He's able to create traffic for this backer. And obviously, this backer, it would have been nice to have a safety get over the top of this, but this safety is more focused on Brian Thomas Jr. Easy read right here by Trevor. The protection is really, really, really good. And all we have to do is make this a decent throw, and it is absolutely perfect for a touchdown. This is just classic bad coaching. So, you bunch of sickos, midway through this film study, and you already haven't hit the subscribe button, do it now. Let's go. This is just classic bad coaching from the Jets, okay? You're being killed through the air, okay? Let's force them to run the football on us. Instead, heavy play action. You could see how hard these linebackers are biting, and all you're doing is leaking a tight end across the way. This is an easy read right here by Trevor Lawrence, and you just got to make the very simple throw and hit your backup tight end right in the chest, and you'll take that all day, every day for a gain of roughly 12. So my best guess, once again, it's cut off here on this play, and I didn't see this live either, so there's probably another angle, but this is probably a double move by Brian Thomas Jr. It was one of his best routes when he was at LSU. He's one of the best double move artists that I know, and you can see here he just burns this corner really, really, really bad. I can't wait to see the all-22 here to see how much earlier this one actually could have been ripped. Here we go. Once again, it's a somewhat similar stack. This time the stack happens post-snap, and you could see that they have a 4/3 to this side, and they still can't guard it. Okay, so you have a vertical here, in-breaker here, and what we're doing is we're running an angle route behind this in-breaker, or a Texas route. Okay, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is the absolute best at this route. Easy throw right there. The separation is so big that Etienne's able to catch this and basically score untouched. 3rd and goal, and this is definitely Trevor's worst rep on the day. Okay, once again, you're in this trips bunch. We're stacking these receivers, and this time it gets sorted out okay. All right, now we get to here where the leaking tight end to the backside is open. Okay, and you can see if we just make this simple throw, you're scoring with plenty of room to spare. Another way Trevor is scoring here is because of the protection, okay? The DT here to where the trips actually is located falls down to the ground. The game is moving just way too fast for him. And obviously if Trevor plants his leg and just goes, he is scoring basically untouched as well. Or he's rolling out, the safety bites in, and he's making an easy scramble drill throw. Instead, he throws the top shelf ball to the backside, and because he was getting hit, the ball goes out on him, and that's a play where obviously you want to score a touchdown. So, what do we make of this Trevor Lawrence game? Well, this was the best game of his career. Per ESPN QBR, it was a 95.9 performance, okay? He also threw for over 300 yards, and I don't know what's more insane. The 95.9 QBR, which is by far his best, his previous high was 83.1 last week versus Indianapolis, and before that, he didn't have one over 75. So he's playing his best ball of his career right now. You do begin to factor in opponent, right? Indianapolis has a respectable defense, but of course the quarterback going out is definitely jarring, but he is playing his best ball of his career. This is easily the best 2-game stretch of his career as well. Once again, completion percentage was a little shaky in these last 2 games, but man, it is ridiculous. Now, I'm looking at you, Super Bowl contenders. You guys have been telling me that I've been wrong about Trevor Lawrence all year long, and man, oh man, oh man, we start off with a negative play. You have a slot corner blitz. It gets picked up here. But this guy started over here, and now he's over here guarding against this deep over that Trevor has thrown really well. And I don't have my all 22 yet to see if this was open to BTJ. I doubt it. So Trevor sees all this space and he's like, hey, I'm just going to tuck and run. Well, it's hard to do that because this Denver Broncos defensive line is coached really well, and there is a sack. All right, I really got to bite my tongue on all of my Trevor hate from earlier in the year because this right here is one of the best throws he has had as a quarterback, okay? A lot of QBs would just take this check down here, but you could see that this defensive line by the Broncos gets vertical, right? You never want to just be in a vertical stack like this because there's always going to be a little hole or just somewhere where the quarterback or the runner will be able to run to, okay? So now you're having to compensate to come over here to the right side. Trevor is able to feel out that the left side is now compromised, and now you've broken contain. And we've seen Trevor Nick Walinda tightrope the sideline for first downs a few times. This time, instead of actually trying to tuck and run for it, Trevor decides to get really, 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 really sexy with it. Boom. Parker Washington, who's been a baller and a fan favorite, just makes a ridiculous catch. Disaster for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you got to have these lucky breaks to actually win a Super Bowl. You're unaccounting for number 6 flying off the edge right here. And now Trevor's blind side is compromised. And they blow the whistle dead, false start, but there is an unsportsmanlike here. Boom. Okay, so here's the thing about this play. Okay, I understand 6 has to be able to hear the whistle and not actually do this. I doubt he's just a dirty guy just going for this big hit. What I would say, though, would this hit have happened if the whistle wasn't blown? And the answer is probably yes. This hit probably still occurs even if they don't blow it dead, because you could see Trevor's trying to sort out this. This is pretty much boxed up, and this is Trevor's blind side. He's coming directly from that blind side. Does he turn around and see him in time? I don't know. So it's probably a sack either way, and that personal foul, of course, gave you a first down. Wow. Just the luckiest run out. Number 1, Trevor didn't get hurt. Number 2, you get the penalty yardage. And then number 3, it's not a sack fumble. So the false start is actually what saved. And then this is where it starts getting really, really, really good. Okay, heavy play action fake. Once again, you're in a heavier formation. And now out of 12 personnel, you got Trevor rolling out to the left side trying to get vertical. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting, all right? What a lot of teams do is this edge guy will come down on Trevor, but Benito decides to stick with the tight end to not get that easy slip. So now Trevor's like, look, let me make this guy miss. And guess what? He just makes a freaking play happen with his legs. It's really, really, really good stuff right here from T-Law, and he's able to pick up the first down. And I love the head first slide. All right, this is a really good throw, but a really easy read right here for Trevor, okay? It's clear that this is man coverage, single high, and we are just running a slot fade, okay? This is actually BTJ's best route, but in this instance, you're doing this with Parker Washington, and obviously BTJ, we just want you to stop and give Parker all this room to operate. And the sign that you're actually a good player is if the throw isn't perfect, you're still able to make this catch. This is not a perfect throw. Parker's got to come around this guy, boom, and make a very difficult grab. Really, really, really good stuff from the Penn State grab. What will ultimately do in the Jaguars team is all these third and longs. And I know we make a lot of jokes about it's third and Green Cove and it's third and Point Verde Beach or whatever, any random city or street in Florida. But, man, there's so many third and longs. And you've been able to, work around it. It was a bigger problem in the earlier Trevor years, but guy gets beat to the inside. It's A-gap pressure. A-gap pressure is the worst type of pressure to give up, and not even Trevor is getting out of that. Ugh. Yeah, this is a sign that you think BTJ can still be that guy. All right, so now, BTJ just snapping this out, and that's Patrick Surtain he's doing this against. This is really good stuff by Trevor, throwing with a lot of confidence, trusting BTJ is going to win that out, and good stuff. We'll take that all day, every day. Boom. Okay, you'll love to see it. Now we just need BTJ to turn up field. He's able to do just that. JP Acosta is a friend of mine. I love his stuff, and he's actually a Jaguar fan and a guy who knows more ball than me. Go follow him. This will be a clip that he'll tweet out. Okay. This play design is one of my favorites. All right. And Bobby Petrino of Arkansas actually ran a variation of this. All right. So it's deep post here, deep post here, and it's your fullback that's actually running a deep post but in an opposite direction. Okay. So heavy play action fake to sell that this might be a run fake. All right. So you're thinking that the tight end is the lead blocker, but in actuality, that's where we're actually trying to throw the vertical. All right. So we're picking on this linebacker and we're picking on them playing man coverage. So if we know they're in man and the corner is going to run with BTJ here, and we know the corner is going to run with the receiver here, and the fact that Surtain is in the slot here, okay, and obviously it's in BTJ. This is Jacoby Myers, but Surtain, who's an outside corner, being in the slot makes you think even more that this is going to be man coverage. This is a perfect play call. This is as good as it gets, if you want to use that term. Okay, so now Greenlaw's in a tough spot. So this corner's being taken out, this corner's being taken out, and we have all this space to throw this football to one of the more athletic tight ends in the NFL. Look at this. Boom. Okay. And also Etienne was open for a big gain. Good throw, good catch. You can't scheme it up that much better. It's funny, and I really do mean this. We've been doing Jaguar breakdowns all season long. This right here is actually my favorite Liam Coen run. All right, you just saw my favorite Liam Coen design pass. This is the run. All right, so we have tight end split zoning in the opposite direction just for a little extra eye candy. And we're doing a same side pitch to the field. All right, so, in college, when you go to the field, the defenders just aren't as fast and as good. The problem is with pitches to the field in the NFL is you have guys that can just knife in here and make really negative plays happen. So watch 29 right here. He is knifing in and he is here to make this play. And guess what? Etienne is able to make him miss. Okay? Now, you see Riley Moss is on the field right here. What happened? Well, while 77, the right tackle here, makes an amazing block on Riley Moss, the more amazing block here was actually made by Jacoby Myers. Okay? So we have Jacoby Myers here making the second most important block on this play, which is this edge. Okay, so he helps out Parker Washington with this edge. And once he gets a piece of this edge, look at how his head just snaps and finds Hufanga, the safety, the transfer from the San Francisco 49ers. Boom. Okay, not only does he block Hufanga, he blocks him as perfectly as you possibly can. Notice his head placement. We want this helmet to be on this upfield shoulder to make sure we seal this defender to the inside. Watch this. Boom. Okay, so you can't really beat Jacoby Myers and what he's done for this team. That is ridiculous, okay? And that's culture, right? You go from a losing culture with the Raiders to a winning culture now with the Jaguars. And then you get a big dude versus a small dude, and that's what happens, okay? Now, to turn this into a big, big, big play, can Etienne make somebody miss? He can. The second broken tackle he had on this play. The only problem is that's why Zach Allen's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL right now. This is ridiculous hustle, all right? And I know it looks as if Tim Patrick could have peeled back on this a little bit sooner. We're breaking these down in slow motion. He probably cuts off Etienne. You're just going to trust Etienne to win this. But that is one of the best shoestring tackles you'll ever see right there. Wow. Second and goal. Love this. Okay. You have man right here. BTJ draws the coverage. And now you have a foot race. And if you're going to throw this, you need to back shoulder this. God bless America. God bless the USA. Look at that right there from Brenton Strange. All right, I get asked all the time, and by getting asked all the time, I mean I don't get asked all the time. I'm not Kurt Warner. But if I were asked all the time, my favorite deep passing concept is dagger. Okay, it's a deep vertical and a deep dig being run behind it. Okay, so the inside guy runs vertical, deep dig run behind it. It's just that simple. Pass protection is near perfect. Actually, it is just perfect. And you hit Jacoby right there. Boom. Okay? Just can't really play the game of football that much better than he does right there. You get a deep, deep, deep vertical shot. 2nd and 10, and this is what you have to do when you're playing these teams that play too high. All right, you just got to keep hitting them with in-breakers. All right, stop right here. That holds this backer. Then we have this window open up. All right, you can't play offense better than the Jaguars are doing right now. All right, there's varying degrees of theory when it comes to quarterback pocket mechanics. And right here, this is an interesting dichotomy. All right, so Trevor has a good pocket, but you're very sack adverse with 18 seconds left to go in the second quarter. So what Trevor sees here is a vertical being run and a deep out. And all he wants to do, knowing that BTJ is going to be open because he feels Surtain is going to run with this vertical, is just back up and just give BTJ the chance to get open. All right. The problem is when you back up like that, your tackle can have good protection, which he did right here on 0. You do go into the path of the rusher, right? So let's just say Trevor right here, you can see he's backpedaling. If he steps up, he's probably in a better spot to make this throw, but I don't mind a backpedal in the spot if you can for sure say he's going to be open on that out. And that right there is pretty open. Okay, you're able to get it, and now you're in comfortable field goal range. All right, second thing. This is a good coaching moment right here for Brian Thomas Jr., okay? You have one timeout left, and you guys know BTJ is my favorite player on the team. You have got in this spot to run directly out of bounds, all right? You're not cutting up in this spot. You have got to go straight out of bounds because based on how I see this play, his forward progress is stopped here, and he is going backwards. To me, this should have been a play on. This should have been a clock rolling situation. And you could see that the sideline here is trying to make sure that they can influence. That's another sign of good culture right here is you want an active sideline. All right, so you could see this influenced the call, or it might have influenced the call. This should have been keep the clock moving situation. So if you catch it, you got to go directly out of bounds. 3rd and 1, this is erotic quarterback play. I mean, just an easy zone read pull. You can see they all sold out to stop Etienne. And when you're able to run the football effectively with Etienne, guess what? That zone read pull becomes really, really, really good. 3rd and 9, and it's going to be cut off. Actually, I think you can see it. You could see this looks like this is Sean Payton, not the DC Vance Joseph. But you could see they bring a slot corner blitz, and this is a good player here by Parker Washington. It looks as if this was supposed to be some switch vertical or something like that, but Washington just stops and finds the open space, replaces the blitzer, and Jaguars are able to get a free first down, basically. It's just good stuff. Really high football IQ from Washington and, of course, Trevor. And now Washington has the sideline here. Good stuff. There was a good throw to Tim Patrick that we cut out of this. So we'll get to here, and T-Law is basically just cooking, man. BTJ draws some coverage. You're able to just run this in. Good stuff. Jaguar Nation, I hope you're enjoying all this free content, but please support in many ways. You could Venmo, Cash App. You can hit that join button and become a member. But Trevor elects to run this quick out. He probably saw Riley Moss right here this far back, and he's like, there's no way he's getting out here in a leverage advantage. Man, that's just good stuff right there from Trevor. But it gets even better from Parker. Boom. And he splits the two. And then he's able to hit the gas. And now he's running pretty fast. Okay? So, look, is he supposed to score here? I mean, he's never scoring with the pursuit angles being the way that they are. Jamar Chase scores this, but he's not Jamar Chase. This is a nasty cutback, though, to turn this into an even bigger gain. God bless America. Parker Washington. Look at him go. You go, Parker. Huh? Look at him. Look at him. And he almost scores. Good stuff. Oh, boy. This is the most basic concept or just play in all of football. It's mesh, and it's actually mesh rail where you have shallow drag here, shallow drag here. Your first read on mesh rail is normally the rail. And guess what? The Broncos are all out of sorts here. I don't know if they thought they were in man or zone because there's two guys here that score. All right. And it's actually the first and second read in the progression. Okay. It's Etienne, he scores, and BTJ is walking into the end zone. So whoever's on your fantasy team, congrats. Nasty work right here by Etienne to cut back. You should be able in all that space to score. And he's able to do just that. Nasty. Trevor, goodness gracious. Please, please, please don't make me look like a fool again with how well you've been playing quarterback. And honestly, so much of this is just Parker Washington just balling out of control, right? Riley Moss gets cooked yet again, and dude, P-Dub is just that guy, man. He might just be that guy, okay? This is a good Broncos secondary. This is one of the worst pass protection reps I have seen from a Coen coach team. And I don't know who the Jaguars offensive line coach is. He is going to rip into either Trevor or the center guard combo here. We never want unblocked A-gap pressure from a defensive tackle. Never, ever, ever. Unblocked A-gap pressure is sometimes okay, but rarely is it. And especially if it is a DT, you get a little lucky here that this DT is a little bit further off the football. Maybe that's what caused the confusion here, and that he actually had a very delayed release. I think he was shocked that he was unblocked, but they let him go. And now Trevor has to make a quick decision with the biggest guy in their team breathing right down your neck, and boom. Okay, takes a big shot, and look at where he actually places his football. Boom. That's not really that bad. Now, you can see here that this route from Jacoby Myers is nasty, okay? He does have Riley Moss stumbling there. So that's a good recovery right there by Moss. If this ball was more in this direction, it's getting done. But, man.
Go beat his ass the next play.
Is Trevor Lawrence a Pro Bowl level quarterback? Was he snubbed? We'll talk about that today. And we start off here with a little screen. The Chiefs do this better than anyone, having their running back cross face and go into the flat. And you get Etienne a very easy touch to juke and jive with. And look at this from Etienne. What a strong finish from the former Clemson teammate. Alrighty, this might have been my favorite Liam Coen play in this game. So you have the short motion right here from Jacksonville, and you can see that there is a corner blitz coming from the top. And normally throwing in the direction of a corner blitz is something good, but you can see Trevor starts off looking to the left, but he really likes what he has here to the right. And this play right here was actually made by Parker Washington. Okay, there's so many little nuances in the Liam Coen offense that are a lot of fun to break down, and this is one of them. So you can see Parker Washington starts his route off in a 45-degree angle to the opposite side of the field. And one of the big reasons why he's doing that is because he's trying to create traffic with 51, who has to guard Brenton Strange all the way here into the flat. And watch what happens. Boom. He gets in the way while not actually hitting him, and that allows Strange a wide open release here to the right side. And this is an easy throw for Trevor Lawrence to make. The protection was able to hold up. And, man, there might be 2 or 3 tight ends in the NFL better after the catch than Brenton Strange. A creative little pirouette to get upfield. And, man, he's just breaking tackles left and right. Good stuff right there. Rocking the Alvin Kamara turf tape as well. And the sign that you are playing at a Pro Bowl level is when you're at quarterback and they blitz you, you're at your most comfortable. All right, so right here, the Colts bring everybody outside of one little spy right here. And Trevor sees that, and he knows Parker Washington in the slot is going to cook. All right, so he sees it, and then obviously the footwork here isn't the best, but you're always more lenient on quarterback footwork when it's 0 because there are times when the QB is just going to be fading away just to give him a little bit more time and space to make this throw, and that is exactly what Trevor does. Look at where this ball is placed. Boom. Couldn't have done it any better than that. It looks like a very easy throw. It kind of sort of is, but It's also very difficult at the same time. Really good stuff by Parker, and he's able to fall forward for a few extra yards. Alrighty, it's amazing that the sharpest offensive coordinators all start to do the same thing. We saw Ben Johnson try to pull this off in the 49ers game, with the Bears, and you try a little hook and lateral here. This is honestly, a lot of people will say, well, why are you trying circuit stuff when your offense is playing so well? This is an easy pitch and catch, right? This isn't some crazy, crazy, crazy trick play. And the ball is right there for Etienne. Hit him right in the number, and the ball is just loose. That is on Etienne. I think that's a sound play. 3rd and 3. So you have the turnover. That was mostly the fault of one player. Your defense is getting torched, and you're down by 2 possessions on the road. And this is just really, really, really good, but also kind of sort of lucky quarterbacking. You can see Jakobi Meyers gets jammed, and he gets right into the path of Strange, and now they're basically running the same route. And Trevor, God, this is such a bold, bold, bold throw that he makes right here. Through this window, that is tight, and he gets it in there, okay? One of Trevor's better throws on the season, okay? This is a really nasty defensive call right here by Lou Anarumo, all right, the former Bengals defensive coordinator. He is bringing, once again, another heavy pressure on the 2nd and 10. The Colts don't have a Dwight Freeney anymore, so you got to generate pressure any way you can. And he is bringing a safety all the way across through this A-gap, and Trevor is responsible for this safety. There's going to be someone that's going to be unblocked. Now, that kind of goes against what we normally say here on Power Hour NFL, is that we don't want unblocked A-gap pressure. But in this sense, Trevor is responsible for the unblocked A-gap pressure. So he's backing up, just like we said a minute ago. But this time, he has a good wide base. He gives Jakobi Meyers just enough time to separate, and he makes this throw. I mean, look at this throw. Look at this. Look at this. And an amazing freaking catch. Wow. 3rd and medium. Kind of gets cut off here, but you can see that the Jaguars are basically running mesh. Okay, mesh is a better man beater than zone beater, but this is zone, and it still works. Okay. Once again, to have a tight end that is as explosive after the catch as Brenton Strange is nothing short of incredible. Okay, he is so tough to bring down. He's still not down. You get to here, okay? I have the all-22 copy of this play, and there really was nothing open. And then you see right here over the middle, Ezra Cleveland, the left guard, gets put on his rear end. Not his fault, okay? It is really, really, really hard to stay upright on these twist techniques, okay? So 97 goes to the inside. This defensive tackle goes to the outside, and it's the same thing over here. And guess what? The Jaguars do a pretty decent job of picking it up, and it opens up a tiny rush lane for Trevor to run through. Now, can Trevor, in all this space, make a defensive back miss? He does the Patrick Mahomes fake like I'm going to throw and just kind of stop him in his tracks. And what does he do? He makes the DB miss with ease, and Jaden Daniels glides into the end zone. Trevor, you nasty boy. 1st and 10, and honestly, the guy who deserves the most credit outside of Liam Coen as a coach is just the overall pass protecting operation of Jacksonville. They just did a really good job versus the Colts in this game. And once again, there's not really a whole lot of receivers in the NFL better at running the deep outs than Brian Thomas Jr. Trevor really trusts him on that route, even if it's against Sauce Gardner. And boy, oh boy, you get a huge completion for a 1st down. And I say that and totally forgot this happened a few plays later. Ezra Cleveland, this is the hardest position to pass protect against. It is a 3-technique defensive tackle. All right, so I get asked quite a bit, what level of football did you play? I was only a high school pass rushing defensive tackle. My favorite place to rush was the outside shoulder of the guard, because if you're able to beat him to the inside quickly, you then have the most premium asset of any defense, which is A-gap pressure. Okay? It's impossible, even with someone like Trevor, to get out of that. And the hard part about it is that there's a looper and a linebacker coming across, okay? Looper, twister, whatever you want to call it. So you have A gap pressure, and then you have the B gap where Ezra Cleveland was untouched, okay? So, Trevor, you just got to eat this. 2 hands on the ball. Just find a way to hold on to it, and he's able to do that. Ugh. Alrighty. You get an offsides right here, so this is a free play for Trevor Lawrence. And, he's not able to get one off because 97, because he was offsides, was through there. But I still want to highlight this play because this shows you how tough Trevor actually is in the pocket. Okay, that's him on his throwing hand getting the ball swiped, and he's able to hold on to it. And then 2 hands on the ball, run through that rusher. And this is just some ridiculous athleticism, right? This isn't what Trevor is known for. He's able to cut back on Zaire Franklin and turn this bad boy on upfield. Now, if you're Trevor, we don't want a big hit to be taken, all right? And we'll take that all day, every day. Really high-level quarterback play. All right, so they had been blitzing you at this portion of the field. And when you're in a condensed look, it does open yourself up to slot corner blitzes. But with the safeties being this far back, there are 2 deep safeties you can't see. The likelihood of those go way, way, way down. All right. So you can see here that the Colts are in an aggressive man coverage alignment with 2 deep safeties, which means there's only going to be a couple of rushers. All right. So they have QB spies because Trevor's been killing them with his legs. Now, what you don't see here is there are 2 safeties, and one here drives down on Jacoby Myers. Okay, so this looks open. That's not where Trevor should have gone with the football. So he passes up on that, gets to Parker Washington, also running a deeper over, and look at where it's placed. Boom. Okay, that looks like it was thrown into heavy coverage. It really wasn't. 20 was able to peel off that over and then come back over here. And watch this from Parker Washington. Y'all, that is ridiculous. Okay? This is a good litmus test to see how athletic somebody is when you get knocked down, how quickly do you pop right back up? Boom, boom, boom. And this is what's really impressive. He gets up and he knows immediately, hey, we're in the hurry up, okay? So where can I get this football? And he gets it to the referee as soon as he possibly can. Really, really, really good stuff. So now we get to the worst Trevor play of the last couple of weeks, okay? So once again, you could join our YouTube membership program. All you got to do is hit the join button, and you'll get my second half breakdown of this game. Want to get as many members as we possibly can because these film studies do take a while, and it helps me out in a major way because I have to be able to feed my dog. My wife, she doesn't care. She said, just make sure Z-Baby gets her treats every month. So I appreciate the 5 members. Yes, I expect at least 5 members to join our membership after this video, okay? Now, we get to a very interesting situation. So you saw pre-snap that we rotated Brian Thomas Jr., and then we motion Parker Washington here to the right side, okay? So you can see here that they're making their checks, and it looks as if pre-snap that this is still zone coverage, okay? So normally when a corner runs across the formation with another receiver, you're thinking potentially that this could be man. But this very much looks like zone pre-snap, all right? This also looks like split field zone coverage. Just because pre-snap it looks like it's a split field zone coverage look doesn't mean it actually is split field zone coverage. A lot of times this guy comes into the box or this guy comes into the box and this guy goes center field. But you can see pre-snap that this is where we want to go with the football, okay? And guess what? They stay in split field, all right? We have a 4/3 to this side, and this is where we want to go with the football. And guess what? Boom, boom, boom. It's there. All right, this ball should be getting ripped right now to Brenton Strange. Trevor instead steps up into the pocket and throws a 50-50 ball up for Parker Washington. This isn't a bad throw with a linebacker having his back turned. This was just an incredible play by the backer. He picks that off. And we'll give you the end zone copy of this as well. And the reason why this is important is because, yes, Trevor is playing absolutely amazing football, but in the playoffs, when you're playing the better teams, you have got to be able to make this throw where the margins are so slim. And it's tough to see exactly where Trevor's head is. It looks as if it is in the direction of someone else over here instead of Strange, okay? But it is there, all right? You would have liked to have seen him make that throw, and instead he throws a pick, okay? Once again, there's more to it than just that, but there you go.
Most important thing is the next play.
We start off with a nice route from BTJ, one of those in breaking, looks like a deep over, but late we break towards the sideline on the corner, and it is a thing of beauty right here. Trevor to BTJ. So we get to this 3rd and 5. I still think Jeffrey Simmons is the best defensive tackle in the NFL. He does jump off sides here, and it's interesting because on this play, I think BTJ converted this into a go when it was supposed to be an out, but he converted this into a go because he saw the offsides penalty. So a miscommunication there. Alrighty, let's get to this Parker Washington touchdown to start this game for the Jaguars. Really good scouting right here. It's pretty simple. We're not going to let number 98 beat us, okay? So watch what actually happens here. This is a good protection, piece of creativity. Normally, the defensive tackle that lines up in what's called a 3 technique, which is the outside shoulder of the guard, he normally has a one-on-one matchup in this situation. But what the Jaguars elect to do is they bring the center over to the guard to help out with Jeffrey Simmons, and the guard here has to pick up a very difficult A-gap block right here in pass protection, okay? Boom. All right, 97 elects to go to the outside. Tootin is there to help clean up the scraps. So to help versus Jeffrey Simmons, you bring the center over, and you're able to double him, and you see how that works? Boom. Normally a center's double will come from this side, but this time he goes behind the guard to really help with Jeffrey. So this is good coaching right here from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then we get to the actual touchdown itself. So pre-snap, you can see that it is split field coverage, okay? So versus too high, we want to work the deep middle. So now we get back to this end zone copy, okay? This isn't necessarily prime Ed Reed you're going up against, but it's a really nasty route. It's a boom and boom, okay? They're drawing it up for you. You're faking that you might be running a corner, and then you end up running a post. And this is just a really good piece of body control from Parker Washington, who, when it comes to that area of his game, it's so smooth, right? It reminds you a little bit of a guy by the name of Jarvis Landry, okay? Look at him selling this corner, all right? The safety is really thinking that Parker could be going here, and watch how he snaps this off. Okay, it's a thing of beauty, and look at when Trevor is actually throwing this football. Y'all look at it. It's now, all right? That is ridiculous anticipation. Freaking ridiculous. And it helps when you have a creative pass protection to give him the time and the confidence to make that throw. Boom. You just really can't play football better than that, guys. You just can't. 3rd and 4, and man, oh man, this is some good stuff from the Tennessee Titans, okay? If they're saying, hey, if we know that you're going to double Jeffrey Simmons all the time, let's overload this side and actually bring a pressure. One other thing, when you're in this bunch formation, and this isn't even trips bunch, this turns into quads bunch, which is very rare. You're always opening yourself up to a slot corner blitz coming from this direction, okay? So you just get outnumbered here, all right? Tackle picks up him. Guard picks up him as well, and that allows this guy to be untouched. And with these guys dropping back into coverage, there's just too much traffic for Trevor to find someone, and he's just going to have to eat this sack every single time. So you just tip the hat to the Tennessee defense for calling a pretty perfect play right there, even though Trevor did a good job of almost getting out of it. Yeah, if you want to know one thing the Jaguars have done better than anyone else in the NFL, it's number one, getting very diverse with their formations, and then number two, getting their tight ends to run routes from one side of the line of scrimmage to the other. It's just so difficult to pick up, especially if you sell a heavy run action here to the left. Okay, heavy run action to the left, and you're rolling out to the right, and then you're eventually hitting Brenton Strange on this over. Okay, it's really good stuff, really good use of misdirection. It has a big effect on you defensively if they're moving you from left to right to left to right. It's good stuff. Got to have confidence in your quarterback to run this very feast or famine play, because now we're heavy play actioning to the right and doing this to the left, but in a different way. We're split zoning Strange here. This is a difficult throw for any quarterback. Unblocked player by design. Boom. Okay. Trevor, I know he's always been an amazing athlete, but man, you could tell that he works really hard at his. All right, I'm going to show you one little thing that really sells. The third play action fake on the same exact drive, okay? You would think at some point that they're not going to continue to get fooled by the run, but this tight end inserting right here, all right, instead of, going out here, he goes through here, and you're making the defense think that he's actually the lead blocker, okay? But he's not. Heavy play action fake. Look at how heavy these linebackers have flowed into the box. Opens up this little pocket of space right here. Easy pitch and catch. We all know Jakobi Meyers is absolutely money over the middle, and that's why you pay him the big bucks right there. Good throw, good catch. Let's talk about one big thing I've seen in the NFL. All right, you line up in 5 wide, and you have the wide side of the field with 3 receivers. The defense will call this the strength of the formation, okay? So trips over here, they have 4 guys over 3. One of my favorite things is actually working the boundary in this situation. Even if it's a tight end and a running back to the left side, I love working this side because it's 3 over 2. It's 1 less defender, and then at the same time, these guys watch film, so you do have to keep one guy in to respect Trevor's ability to run, okay? So you'll see right here, 3, Meyers is running a corner. You have an in-breaker right here from Strange. Both the defenders actually run with the corner route, and that leaves Strange wide open for an easy touchdown. Okay? Should 33 have been over here a little bit more? Maybe so, but that's as easy as it gets. Alrighty, let's get to the next drive. It is 2nd and Ponte Verda. Did I get it right this time? Anyway, you're running dagger to the top. And I've seen the all-22 of this. I am a little shocked that Trevor, who's playing with a lot of confidence, pump fake this. It's a very small pump fake. All right, I do all these breakdowns in slow motion for a reason. But still, I would like to have seen him just rip it first time around. But because the pump was really, really, really quick, he's still able to get that football to Parker on the deep dig. And man, he is so freaking good after the touch, okay? Makes one guy miss, then he's cutting back. Man, this is just ridiculous, okay? Now, you have him slipping and sliding. It's like a water park out here, okay? Eventually, he does get brought down. Jaguar fans, please check out our bonus film study from today's video where we talk about Bashal Tutin's few good runs in this game. Just go down, click that join button, and it really helps me out. Alrighty, let's get to this 3rd and 1. And Liam Coen, man, dude, he's not in his bag. He is in his Louis. He is in his coach era. Get it, coach bag? Whatever. So you start off with Trevor lined up out of here, and you're thinking that this is going to be a direct snap. And then Trevor gets under center, and you're like, okay, this is probably going to be a run. You can see all the communication that's happening here. 42 is trying to get somebody to account for 80 in the passing game. And you can see right here that 80 acts like he's blocking the end, and then he slips. And then, of course, you have 50 caught up in the mush. He's blind to everything. Strange cuts 50 off, and that keeps 80 open. It's just a lot for a linebacker to have to deal with. So now it truly is a blowout as we get to the second half. Once again, heavy play action fake, and I'm trying to figure out what this is. It looks like Trevor is set to throw. Normally when he's in this spot locked and loaded, you would think something would be breaking for him to be able to be ready to throw. And it looks like the timing is just off. So Trevor is able to extend, and obviously some of the Titans players are already getting their reservations for Cancun, and Trevor's able to eventually find somebody open. Boom. Hits BTJ. So I wonder, with the way Parker Washington has played, and once again, it's Trevor and Parker, just insane chemistry right here. Let's just find a pocket of space, and I trust Parker to get the football. Obviously, you can always hit this check down right here. I believe this is our thumbnail image as well. You know, the image you click on to watch these dope videos. And by the way, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. You know, I just think with the way Washington has played up to this point, you need to move Travis Hunter full-time to defense. And that, of course, is when he gets healthy, okay? Now, we get to this play. Part of why this works so well, one of the best things to run versus a defense that just can't quite get their calls right is just a quick screen, right? Because they're on their heels. It's 3rd and 7, and you're going to pick this up almost every time if you have semi-decent blocks. And that's pretty much what happens. The blocks here are really good, and Jacoby's able to pick this up. Good stuff. So a lot of people have made fun of the Colts going to get Sauce Gardner. I hate that. I really, really, really do, because I trust teams that want to be bold. And one of the bolder decisions, you know, they pulled Trevor now, is that the Jaguars went and got De'Ami Brown, who's a good football player. And then they also had Travis Hunter. And they still said, that's not good enough. All right, I knew Hunter was already hurt before they got Myers. But the fact that they went out there and got Jacoby Myers tells me everything I need to know. And I still think De'Ami Brown could play. Okay? Really good throw, really good catch. And look at this right here from Mr. Brown. Okay?
Your head up, okay?
Thanks,
and ladies and gentlemen, Duval.
Jaguar Nation, the offensive breakdown I did not want to do. We have grown as a community. And boy, oh boy, Trevor Lawrence laid a stinker. I hate to have been the guy that told you earlier in the year that Trevor's not really all that. But the truth is, he had been playing incredible, right? Okay, so, you know, it's interesting that there's been a lot of conversations involving Tony Romo as an analyst. And he was saying during the game that he thought that this was, you know, a pretty well-disguised coverage. Not really. I mean, this is as static as one could see, basically, right? It's just traditional too-high stuff, linebacker dropping deep center, so you can get into it being kind of sort of like Tampa here. And basically what Tampa 2 is, if there is a deep vertical, the middle linebacker is responsible for it. And obviously Trevor is eyeing this safety all the way here. He has an in-breaker to Parker Washington, who has kind of sort of become his guy. And if you're going to throw this, all right, you've got to be ripping this football right now, okay? You're a half beat late. Linebackers are just too good. And you can see that this backer is already eyeing this the entire way. There is some pressure right into Trevor's face. Ezra Cleveland right into his lap, and that might have taken some of the steam off that football. But honestly, this is one of the worst playoff interceptions you will see. Much will be made about the Jaguars not giving any carries to that of Bashil Tootin a little bit later in the game, even though he was hot early. There's many, including the great Bill Barnwell, who says the Jaguars simply should have kept running the football, and there might be some credence to that. I mean, they did run the football ridiculously effective. That's a really good block right there by 77, and Tootin turns this up for a nice gain. Life is so much about misdirection. I do think this was a blown assignment by the left tackle, and because this was a blown assignment by the left tackle, the defensive end crashes down, and Tootin runs it here to the left side. I don't know if it is or not. If it was not, this is one of the best designed rush plays I can remember, scouting an opponent like Bosa, knowing that he would crash down in that spot. So some ridiculously good play calling right there. And honestly, if I'm Tootin, I am reading this block out a little bit better. Okay, so if I see that Tre'Davious White is getting pushed to the outside, why not slow down on the throttle and see if you could cut this back up vertically? but instead he tries to turn the corner, and he does indeed pick up a first down. Yeah, weird convo surrounding my dear beloved Brian Thomas Jr. Going into next year. Obviously, what's going to happen with BTJ and what's going to happen with Travis Hunter with the emergence of Parker Washington. Really good stuff right here. The Jaguars have been some of the best at running trips bunch concepts. Trevor sees that BTJ is right there, rips it. You can make a case it was a half beat late, but because BTJ is a big target right here, you get some LSU on LSU violence. Ugh. All right, you get the fumble recovery off the kickoff return, and we move ahead to this 4th and 2. Should the Jaguars have actually gone for it here? I think you should go for it in this spot because you are going up against Josh freaking Allen, okay? Keep the football in your offense's hands. And this honestly is on Trevor Lawrence. It really, really, really is, okay? Good play call. We have a zone read right here. Trevor rightly decides to keep it because he does see an edge that is wide open. And we just need him to pick this up. He loses his footing right here. And honestly, this should have been about as easy of a pickup as one could see. In fact, we can make a case that Trevor should have scored if he doesn't actually slip on his own footing. At the very least, he should have picked this up. So this is on Trevor. I understand there's so much being made about the spot and the overturn, but we can control what we can control, and Trevor did not control his body well at all. And this was just a nasty call by Sean McDermott, right? I'm not a big McDermott guy as far as the head coach is concerned, but God, this is such a good defensive call. We are bringing both backers on a blitz, and we're backing out both of the rush ends. And this is a perfect call versus mesh, which is a very common 3rd and 6 concept. Now, how do the Jaguars or the Bills know that this is a good 3rd and medium mesh beater? It's because the Bills run a lot of mesh, so they know exactly how to defend against this, okay? So mesh is 2 shallow drags. The drag is going to get picked up by this end. The drag is going to get picked up by this end. And then there's still a safety right here over the middle, okay? So you can see that the safety is starting to drive down on Jacoby Myers. And normally versus zone with these mesh rail types of concepts, there is a hook route being run behind it. I think what Trevor was thinking here is that Parker is going to stop once he sees that this is zone. And Trevor, you can see, throws it behind him. Okay, he's thinking that Parker is going to stay right there. If he does, he probably is indeed picking that up. Trevor's best throw of the year might have been this one to Parker Washington, okay? Don't quite understand why the Bills would have a QB spy right here in this spot, considering they have no timeouts and you want a Trevor Lawrence scramble. So I don't know about the defensive call right here from the Bills to get Trevor that clean of a pocket. We all know he can rip a seam as good as anyone. Boom. That's a ridiculous catch right there by Parker. And this entire operation and get up and down the football in time to kick a field goal, which was missed, was ridiculously good. Okay? Good stuff. All right, the hardest thing for a ball carrier to do is make guys miss. Okay? Sometimes it really is that simple. And Parker Washington is ridiculously good at making tacklers miss, whether it's a carry, whether it's a catch, whether it's a punt return. He's able to get off that backer and pick up an easy first down right here. Misdirection with this split zone end, and we get a good clean out block right here by Jacoby Myers. Boom, on one of the Bosa brothers. And look at all the space we now get to operate with. Nasty work. The blocks are really good. And Etienne is now racing through the hole. You literally couldn't block that play any better than the Jaguars did here. Maybe a few things here or there, but God, that's just nasty work, that misdirection. Yeah, this is just a ridiculous play by Tre'Davious White. All right, we all know Trevor loves the seam ball, and it does look as if he's got Brenton Strange. Could he have thrown this a little bit closer to the inside portion of the hash? No, because there's a safety right there. You can see Trey White is able to get off that route and come over and make this play. Boom. All right, so the ball is in your court here. You're down by 3, and you get a really good call right here by Liam Coen. Okay, you end up running smash here to the field, and you give Trevor a throw that he's really good at, the sideline ball, good wide base, good feet as well, and look at where that's placed. Boom. Right there to Brian Thomas Jr. Good throw, good catch. Great offense on this 3rd and 2. We don't want to just run into loaded boxes. We want to get vertical out of it. If we don't pick it up, you could just go for it or kick the field goal to tie the game. Heavy play action fake. Because of these press assignments, we're able to get a little rub right here from BTJ. And now Parker Washington has a free release on the over. And now we just need a decent block right there by Tootin. It's decent. Trevor's able to make that blitzer miss and get the football to Parker. Really, really, really good stuff. This is just excellent from Trevor, okay? You can see that they're all out of sorts defensively, but they're still able to sort out these routes, okay? It looks like they are running snag here to the bottom, and then they come back to the backside to Parker Washington. God, good protection as well from the Jaguars front, and Trevor is able to find Parker for the touchdown, okay? Can't really play quarterback better than that. Huge, ginormous game from Jacksonville's running backs. Just a really good performance from top to bottom from this group. And Etienne, who was under as much pressure as Trevor going into this season, even though albeit at a different position and a different scale, man, he was just so unfreaking believably good. Makes that linebacker miss. Now he's getting vertical. You make him miss, you're really cooking with grease here. What a freaking run. What else can be said about P-Dub? You know, we've been a fan of his for years since we've been doing the Jaguar breakdowns. And look at this throw by Trevor. There was some bull rush given up in this game. And Trevor, because he is a big guy, is able to get enough on this football to P-Dub for a nice gain. Good stuff right there. Good throw, good catch. And this is just ridiculous, okay? The fact that you fake this screen over here to the right, and now you're going to Parker here to the left, okay? Really good stuff, and we're leaving this defensive end unblocked. So you are responsible for him as the ball carrier, and Parker just high steps and runs around him like he's nothing. I mean, that is just pure nastiness right there. And then we get to one of the best play calls by Coen. Okay, so you had already shown on the play before this that you can, and obviously the Matrix Neo is screwing this up here, that you can run a jet sweep to the left, and now we are rolling this bad boy out to the right, okay? This is basically RB fast. This is the single most used short yardage play. This time we're doing it on an earlier down, and look at all this misdirection, okay? This is a sign that your coaching is of an elite variety, okay? Look at all this flow here to the left, and basically there's only 2 guys total on an 11-team defense, 11-person defense that are over here to the right side, and all Trevor needs to do, defensive end, if you're going to run with Etienne, we'll just run. If not, I'm just going to throw it. I mean, look at this. Look at the play calling here. There is nobody in this frame whatsoever. Okay? Boom. And all we need is Etienne to make one guy miss. And he's able to do just that. What a season from TE1. Alrighty, we get to the final play. And I think at this juncture, when you have a field goal kicker as good as Cam Little, you don't have to press the matter as much as you normally would, okay? So Trevor decides to, throw this football over the middle, and Tre'Davious White just steps up and makes a big play, right? Longtime Buffalo Bill, former LSU number 18. It's just nasty work, okay? So there's been a lot of conversation on if Trevor holds on to this, does he have the deep post to Parker Washington? The more I've watched this, and I've looked at it from an all-22 angle as well, I do think he would have, okay? Sometimes with these things, when we're looking at it as fans, a route looks wide open after the throw when, and basically the byproduct of the route being open is just the safety who is guarding this deep path is just reacting to the ball already being thrown, okay? I do think with where Cole Bishop was, would he have been able to get depth on Parker Washington running this deep post? Maybe so. Okay? Maybe so. But I don't know. I do not know. Okay? So he decides to throw this heavily covered ball. It gets deflected, and Bishop is right there to end the game. Okay? T. White, a legend. So, yeah, I mean, Trevor just was not great in this game with the turnovers. It's just that simple. You just can't have the INTs that he had, and you win this game. He did, however, have 2 drives in the second half to give you the lead, and you just got Josh Allen, basically. So if you want to know what I would have done defensively to try and stop Josh Allen, we've already done that breakdown. But if you don't see me until next season, I hope not. We're going to do a bunch of NFL draft stuff on where I think the Jaguars can improve. Please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. It goes a long way. It is Power Hour NFL. And look at Parker. He's like, boom. Tonight we are doing chicken.